Get comfortable, family. We are now live. We'll be right back in 1 minute.
I gotta do something different. And so that's what I came across your seven sacred prayers that you produce. I played it on a loop every night I went to sleep for a month. And I
Wow.
feel like I had some type of surgery, like a spiritual surgery. Like I feel lighter. I feel happier. Like I I
Dope.
wanted to cry. I wanted to cry.
Dope.
And I can't cry. I couldn't cry. And I'm just like, I came close. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep, because it does release. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? It has so many not just physical, corporeal benefits, but you know what I'm saying, mentally, spiritually, whatever. I could use that. I'm still. I want. I want to cry, bro. I
Yeah.
want to cry. So you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep working with it because had I not just, you know what I'm saying, taking it, I had to take it seriously.
Yeah.
My people tell me you got to choose. I made a choice. I would have bought it twice. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like,
Mm.
there's no amount of money that I could put for a price point on that thing. Like,
Mm.
if you really mean it, the money don't matter. Back in the good old days, you had to get it in blood. Yeah, everything was a blood sacrifice. You want to
Real.
commune with the Most High.
For real.
Everything, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, there are always different modalities throughout time and space, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
This thing is invaluable. And if you need to heal, and you need to heal, get it. Get it.
Dope,
Get it.
man.
Quit waiting. It is.
Hey.
I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with it. Just so many, just re-listening to it for months.
Yeah.
It's always just something new in there. I'm just like, that's my new mantra in here. That's what I don't even want to get started because
Yeah, I feel like you still right. You close to
y'all
crying.
got to pay. Y'all got to pay. Y'all got to pay. You know what I'm saying?
I can see
The
it in
money
your
don't
eyes,
matter.
brother. You almost close to crying. I can see it in your eyes, brother. You right there, brother. You right there, brother. You right there, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. It's real, man.
Yeah, wanted to start the show off with that. That brother called in yesterday on my live Q&A show. Shout out to the brother Vic. And without further ado, I want to bring on none other than the jazz master, Doctah B. Sirius. Welcome back, my brother.
It's an honor to be here. It's good to see you. It's a good time. It's a phenomenal space to be in. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. What you thought about starting out the show with that testimonial, man? What you thought about that testimonial?
Well, we've been getting these testimonials now just for weeks since, you put out the prayers, and that alone, just that piece, the seven sacred prayers, something that a lot of people have never had. And, my grandmother told me something when I was leaving, and I was going to California, and she said, don't ever leave home without a prayer.
Mm.
And she handed me this little handy dandy Bible. And she said, you just open to any page.
Mm-hmm.
And either you read your favorite prayer or read whatever's on that page.
Mm.
Don't be out in the world without a prayer. So that doesn't necessarily mean from the Bible. A prayer is your path. That's your goal. That's what you're moving towards.
Right.
Words are prayers. Anything you're saying is like a prayer. But if you're choosing and you're being, intentional about what you desire to show up, those are considered prayers. So when you chose to put the seven sacred prayers together, I was like, wow, that's genius, because before the GodPower event, people will get a chance to have a tool that opens up the doorway, the gateway.
Yes.
And these are personal, I know for sure what Billy did and what I offered were personal prayers, not prayers, but meditations or gate openers, or, they were words that, were really deep. And I'm feeling it right now because, I didn't even watch what I did. And I don't remember what I did when I was there because I was having an out-of-body experience, as I told you before.
Yeah.
But to have something like this, and just that alone, before the GodPower event, to have that to open you up so that the event, allows you to be who you really are. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And it's a wonderful thing. And I want to thank you for coming up with that particular idea to give that away right away, because that alone is worth the investment. Just that piece.
Powerful. Yeah, that's my favorite part of Doctah B's prayer too, when he said, I allow. And he just kept saying, I allow. There was so much emotional attention when he said that. That was my favorite part of his prayer too. Shout out to everybody who ordered a blueprint for GodPower 2. You know, we're counting down. We're getting ready. We're going to have a phenomenal show tonight. Doctah B continues to tell me what he's going to talk about, and it's phenomenal. I'm about to put the link in the chat also. But Doctah B, something that you're introducing the family to tonight, some people may know about. This is one of the things that the community is desperately missing out on if they haven't studied it. And that's neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. So I definitely look forward to hearing you talk about that briefly tonight. I got about an hour tonight, family. I'm not going to be on here too long. But yeah, without further ado, Doctah B, man, we're counting down. We're getting ready for October. People are getting their prayers, and their prayers are going to lead them into October. Everybody who got us is excited. I'm excited from what you told me you're going to talk about. Billy's excited. This is going to be phenomenal. So Doctah B, without further ado, let's talk about this. Let's break this thing down, neuro-linguistic programming, and how this is going to benefit the community, my brother.
Well, first, let's talk about the roots of the term neuro-linguistic programming. It was a term that was created by Richard Bandler and this other guy, John Grinder, in 1976. Richard Bandler was a linguist. You know, he's in the language and words. And this guy, John Grinder, he's a mathematician. So they got together and they said, let's quantify and study groups of people and see what types of things they have in common, and then break that down to a mathematical sequence or something that we can use to, how language and words and rhythms and sounds are affecting our thoughts. You see, so it's neuro-linguistic programming. So neurons, or neuro, is thoughts. Linguistic is language. Programming are scripts or scriptures. Scripts are scriptures, which is based around scoring. Scoring is writing. You see, in order to write, you got to score on the paper, and it adds up to something. So that's how you get mathematics. Now, I, many years ago, took a neuro-linguistic course. And, I was always the person in the back of the classroom that was asking questions that were kind of, they were challenging to the teacher. And they said they studied people all over the world, and they looked at the way they acted, the way they reacted, their facial expressions around certain words, around certain situations. And they said, well, we came up with this idea that all people on the planet react a certain way with certain stimuli. My question was, I said, well, y'all studied all the people in the world? They said, well, no, there was a core group of people that we studied, and they all had these things in common. Well, my question always was, how many of the indigenous people were in the group? But they, no, everybody's the same. And we've kind of got this, template that everybody reacts a certain way. And I was able to prove that it is not, the study is only partially correct, that everybody reacts a certain way. In other words, they're saying there are certain facial expressions that people have when a subject comes up. If you mention being sad or being happy and all of that, but that still is based on culture. That's based on community. That's based on family. That's also based on epigenetics, energy around the words, energy or what's going on in the environment. So neuro-linguistic programming it's a template that you can use as a starting point to figure out what certain things mean. Like, for instance, when people are thinking about the past, not all people, but a lot of people, when they're thinking about the past, they lean to the left or they look to the left. People who live in the past are always leaning to the past. That's their path. Folks who are thinking about the future, and it's called the construct future. And it's called the construct future because it hasn't happened yet. In other words, the future is being constructed by you. You're creating what you call the future, because when it comes, it's not today. I mean, it's today. It's not tomorrow. So the construct future is something you're thinking about creating. When people are looking at you and they're looking straight ahead, right in your eyes, and their head is straight, their head is level, they're in the moment. They're right now. They're ready for what's happening now, because what happened in the past is in the past and it can't be changed. But sometimes that gets stuck in the memory loop of the average person. They're caught in their past, and they were told, and the programming was that the past repeats itself. History repeats itself when it actually never does. Nothing actually happens exactly the same in nature.
Yes.
That's unnatural. If something is happening exactly the same, it's usually a program. It's usually a loop, you see. So neuro-linguistic programming is a template that we can use that has to be modified. And what I had to do was modify everything. Mm-hmm. I said, because what they're not looking at is melanin and neuromelanin.
Ooh.
You see, the melanin causes you to act and respond differently because you're connected more to the soul. Soul is black. Black, that's the dark matter of the universe. That is the underpinnings of everything. That's what ties everything together. You're the soul. That is the akasha. That's the everything. That's the all. For some folks, they call that nirvana. Mm-hmm. You see? So it people who have different levels of melanin present in their skin and in their hair and in their eyes, they react slightly differently. Mm-hmm. So the neuro-linguistic programming that I'm going to be discussing in the GodPower event is going to be something that they weren't looking at, because I took it into the music realm, and there are certain musical notes that people respond to. There's certain things that you do musically that move people at a deep level. So now we're talking about how the neurons and the melanin and the hypothalamus and the pituitary and the pineal react in original people. So right. A lot of the programming that they use in commercials, they use in NLP, and even in movies. Right. So I was watching the movie the other night, and they had this Coke can way off in the corner on a counter. It was out of the shot, but you could see it. Yeah. And you knew it was Coke. It didn't say Coke because they had it turned around, but it was Coca-Cola Red. And Coca-Cola Red is the Santa Claus Red, which is owned by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola owns Santa Claus. You know that, right?
I heard, man.
Yeah, Coca-Cola owns that. And you can't use Coca-Cola Red because it's patented. They own it. That's deep. You can own colors.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
These folks want to own everything, right?
Yeah.
But that can of Coke in the corner, because when I'm watching movies, I'm not looking at what's happening in the foreground. My eye is programmed to look at the whole environment. I'm looking at the scene in the background. I'm looking at the books. Like some people tell me, they said, well, brother, when you be on Brother Rich's show, you need to make the books in the background so we can read them. You know what I'm saying? I said, why? Because they're looking at the background. They want to see what is behind you, what you've read, or what's in your mind, or what's on your table. Right. But that can of Coke, after I looked at it, I could taste Coke. Whew. I could taste it, and it wasn't Pepsi, it was Coke. They're different. They put things in the movie scene and say certain words and make certain sounds to get you to react. Now, some of these new cheap movies, they got these new cheap movies, man, and the sound be funny. You could tell it's one guy with a keyboard. You know what I'm saying? And the actors are, you know what I'm saying? But the old movies where they were going deep, because they had to go deeper on, up until recently, they had to go deeper on your psyche, because it was too much. People were so vast in their emotional space. People had so much, but now, just in recent years, they've kind of narrowed it down, and they can control people really easy with simple things. You see, so you watch these old movies where the people had to act. Yeah. They had to get into the character. It wasn't about, you know what I'm saying? We could fix it and we could just, smudge over that and make it work. And, but when you get into the older stuff, they were programming you at a different level, because television and movies are programming. In fact, a lot of these movies today are what they call they're soft disclosure about things that are happening that you might sound science fiction or a little crazy, but they're actually based on something that is happening. But a good actor and an actress they have to study this neuro-linguistic programming, and they have to have certain facial movements at a time when they say something. Because the vibration that you're creating with the words has to go along with a facial, right? So that now you have facial recognition. You know, people like to text today. Why? We slipped into this one real fast. It's easier. You don't have to deal with people. You know, and the faces are what? Emojis. You know, I they can sit. I can, I messed around the other day and let them upgrade my phone. I was slipping, and that sucker got new emojis. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But an emoji is not something real. It's an emoji, and you think it's emotional. But first of all, most of the faces are yellow. This is a problem because they're dealing with third chakra. They're dealing with your gut instinct. They turn off your gut instinct and they're becoming your instinct. And these emojis are supposed to what? They're supposed to translate how somebody really feels and what they're trying to say. So when you see emoji, like I think I mentioned this before, somebody wrote me a whole note in emojis. Brother, they were upset. I called them. I said, well, why are you calling me? I sent you the note. I said, well, that's the emojis. Well, you know. I said, well, can you break these emojis? I said, Dr. B, why are you so old school?
Yeah.
Why am I old school? I'd like to hear your voice. I'd like to hear the inflections in your voice. I'd like to hear the sound and the tone and the frequency of what you're saying versus what you're emitting and what you're admitting and what you're not saying. Because if I watch your eyes and I watch your face, I can feel you better. If I hear your voice and hear the tone of what you're saying, I can feel you better because that attaches to the neuromelanin and it goes into the soul network. If I can't really touch you, if I can't hear you, and it's just emojis and it's just notes, even in the text are out of context.
Yes.
Just because you said a few words in the text don't mean I need to talk to you. But people don't want to talk. They've agreed, right, to be a part of a program. They've agreed to join the matrix and quote unquote be conscious. Just because you sent me a picture of a crystal, I'm supposed to mean that you're being spiritual. I don't know, unless I can feel you, then I'm not sure where you're coming from or if you're real. And the average person today is not real. The average person today is fake up. They're into fake up. They're plastic. They're polyvinyl chloride. The average person is gone. The average person is not home. They think they're home because they're into all the technology, but you can't communicate with me without going through these devices, without having a persona that you made, a filter. People can't go out looking natural. I can't go out looking like this. What if people see me in my natural self? Whoa, so you got to put on all this regalia, this what they call uniform, which is also a habit. You know, the Catholics, the nun wears a habit. If your habit is being fake, if your habit is not being real, in order to be cute, you have to have on somebody else's hair. Your hair's got to be straight. You got to have on these shoes that are lifting you off the ground, so you're not touching anything. You got to have on the newest sneakers. They can't have a dot on them. They can't have, you got hundreds and hundreds of sneakers. You got all these clothes, all this outfit, all this armor to go out into the world because you're not real. That's not who you really are, because who you really are is when you're by yourself and all that stuff is off. And you're in the mirror looking at yourself, by yourself, with yourself, for yourself. Now you're being real. But if you have to go out into the world and change your voice, you got to change your character. You got to draw on a face. You got to wear somebody else's hair, which is antennas picking up information for somebody else. Yeah, and your hair are antennas that are tuned to certain frequencies that are made to pick up what somebody else's information, and you're wearing it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I'm saying you need to know that you're picking up information and that you're being told, right, from a program who to be. So you're confused. The average person is confused. This is the time of confusion. Now check it out. This is also the time of the victim. Because when I talk, some people get upset and they say, well, Dr. B, they made me be this way. My job, I have to do this for my job. I have to do it for my parents. I have to do it. That's not true. If you are confident, in which a lot of people today are just not, they're not being, they're not practicing confidence. If they're not courageous, then they'll get caught up and they begin to speak the language that everybody speaks today. They walk a certain way, they look a certain way, their eyes move a certain way, because they have been programmed through neuro-linguistic programming to be basically a half human, an Autobot, a program, a transhuman. And I guess people think that's okay, but what's happening is what they say. It was an old saying where they say you gotta tear the wheat, you gotta divide the wheat from the tare, because when they take wheat, you know, when they're throwing it up in those baskets back in the day they don't do that now, but the hull of it, right, the skin or the outside of the wheat would blow off in the wind, and then you'd have the pure kernel.
Right.
You see what's happening right now? We're being divided. The real people, the people who are ready to be real and be realistic and speak the original tongues and be real and be authentic, are showing up. But the average person is being directed into hell. Even a lot of folks say, well, you know, I'm conscious. That ain't me. No, I'm trying to tell you, a lot of what you think is conscious has been told to you and programmed to you. And if you go into your true gut feeling, some of it don't feel right. Just because the person is, you know, they got on a certain outfit, they got a certain hairdo, and they got a certain voice, you believe it as so in your head. Now, check this out. Your head is speaking a different language than your gut. They're two different beings, because your gut is God. Your gut is connected through the microbacteria, the friendly bacteria, the microbiome in your gut. The gut feeling is authentic, but we go against the gut. In fact, we eat so much stuff that our gut is numb anyway. You know, you eat so many, you know, excitotoxins, preservatives, you know, foods that never existed, frankenfoods, foods that is nothing but grease, you know, high levels of grease and, you know, white sugar and salt, and gluten is taking folks out. Gluten, you know, which makes gluteomorphate. You see what I'm saying? Gluteomorphate is a morphine type substance, a high that you get from eating gluten. And there's another one, caseomorphate, that comes from milk. You get a certain morphine type effect from drinking cow's milk and goat's milk too. Right. So my point here is that there's a natural language in the rhythm of the body, right? Which is the original neuro-linguistic programming. Never mind what these guys created. There's a certain way that we talk. There's a certain way we look at each other. There's a certain way we sound when we're in our soul, when we're coming from the soul, when we're coming for real. You see, we got this screwed up with spirituality. Spirituality and being a soul person is two different things. Spirituality is like your personality. He's highly spirited. You can create that. That just means you're spiraling and you're moving and you're growing and you're expanding. That's what spirituality really means. But there's two different things happening. Your original gut, your original self, your original goal here, your original purpose is in your soul. Now, how do you know when you're getting into the soul? Because you feel good. It's not fake. It's real. You're authentic. So neuro-linguistic programming can be used for you and against you, because one way in the movies and in news and everything, they're programming you. Why do you think the news people talk like this? Back to you, Jim. Tonight on the news, there's a storm coming and it's going to destroy Los Angeles. Right now, it's raining. They were saying, I was listening to the news and they were talking about how bad it was raining in Los Angeles. And I'm talking to my brother. He said, man, it's drizzling outside. There ain't no lightning. Right now, the news, I'm listening to the news. It's terrible. There's tumbleweeds everywhere. There's lightning striking. There's 5 lightning strikings all at the same time.
They was pumping
what
that.
Was that, Jim? What was that? That was an earthquake. Oh, my God. There's a stormquake. There's a hurricane happening right now. Oh, my God. And people are all nervous around the country. Oh, I hope everybody in California is okay. Meanwhile, it's drizzling outside.
Damn.
The people are being programmed for fear, programmed for the cortisol and the adrenaline to pump. And when that adrenaline and cortisol pump, and it has nothing to do because you don't run, you don't use it, it just builds up and your stress gets heavier and heavier. So they use this neuro-linguistic programming to trigger a lot of folks into fear or into hunger. You know, all of a sudden you want a hot dog. You ain't had a hot dog in 20 years. Now all of a sudden you want to go to the ball game just to eat a hot dog. You see? So the programming gets deep. When you look at neuro-linguistic programming to use to make people get into certain states of consciousness, now we can use neuro-linguistic programming a different way. And in GodPower 2, I'm going to show you how to rewrite your own neuro-linguistic programming using a process called the CAVE, kinesthetic auditory visual experience. See, and check it out. In neuro-linguistic programming, they got this thing called the VAC. Okay. I took the class. I took the course. I got an A in the course. Mr. B, you get 100% in the course. You really learned this stuff. I learned it because I want to learn how to unlearn it. Okay. Check it out. They said the most important thing in neuro-linguistic programming in the Western world is a VAC, to have a visual, auditory, kinesthetic experience. That means what you see is most important. Now, what you're seeing is not what's happening. What you're seeing is what you're remembering to happen. What you're seeing is what you're remembering to happen. You know how they used to say, what you see is what you get? You don't know totally what you're seeing, because if 10 people see something, they're going to give you 10 different ideas of what just happened. Because your eyes are connected to memory. In fact, your eyes are the only part of your brain you could see. That's brain material. So if you are putting vision first, you're already walking into prison. You're about to be locked down. Because first of all, you've been getting Photoshop movies. They've been giving you visions of what's happening, what's real. When they show you the news, they show you, and even these movies, they're showing you what it looks like when the aliens land. Everybody agrees that the aliens are these guys with the big gray heads and the big eyes. When I saw actual aliens, they did not look like that. Not the ones that came to me. Not the ones that I saw. And when Dick Gregory talked about the ones that he dealt with, who hung out with him, they didn't look like that. And I met one of them. He didn't look nothing like these gray dudes. People say, what do you mean? You knew aliens? All y'all know some aliens. Some of y'all are our aliens. Some of y'all got some alien neighbors and relatives. You know that. They don't act right. And we don't act right on the earth, because if we were earthlings, we treat this place a little better. So we got to be from somewhere else. So let me go back. A visual, auditory, kinesthetic experience is what the West is telling you to believe in, to follow. We will show you how to act and how you should be and what beauty is. We will show you. Then auditory, we will tell you what you are hearing and what you're listening to. We will choose, like a DJ, the music that you will agree to, the loop, the sounds that you will agree to, the words that you will agree to, and you will attach meaning to those particular words, and those words don't even mean that. Then lastly, they told you to have a kinesthetic experience, which means you're feeling it. It's in the body. Well, when I became, when I was doing the neuro-linguistic work with clients, I noticed that the Caucasian people would leave the office and they would just have changed. Oh my God, Dr. B, this is so great. Oh my God, you remind me of Moses. You've changed my whole life. Then I get some people, black, brown, almost tan, and they would leave the office and they'd be like, Doc, listen, I don't know, what's happening here. Man, I still got the same issues. So what I realized, and this is very important, that we, the original people, we are best if we have a kinesthetic, auditory, visual experience. We need to feel it first, because you don't know what you're hearing. You don't know what you're seeing. Close your eyes. Turn off the screen. Is what they're saying, does it feel right? Never mind, oh boy, just science. Never mind science, because science is being programmed every day. Ain't nothing really proven. You need to feel it. Does it feel right? I don't care who's talking, how loud they are, how many times they've been to Africa, how many black words they say, and how many times they speak some words that you think may be from some ancient people. Does it feel right? What does your gut say? Then we need to get into what it sounds like. Then we get into what looks like. When you get this thing called a cave, and you can take things into the cave, everything changes. So the way we're going to teach this neuro-linguistic programming has to do with learning the language of empowerment. which most of us have never learned. The language of empowerment. We're speaking the language of slavery. We're speaking the language of indentured servants. Even in what we call the conscious language, what we think is, oh boy, this is the way it is. It's not the way it is, because you're using inflections and sounds and colors and sound and tones that are actually created by the people who are the oppressors. Now, let me say this much, and I know you got some questions, brother. If you have been under oppression for a certain amount of times around the sun, it's programmed into you. Oppression. After a while, you become your own oppressor. You become the oppressor because you now actually are protecting some of what the oppressor did, and you got excuses. You've been a victim so long that now you vote victocrat, and you keep talking about the problem. I met a lady today who mentioned she was a 3-time cancer survivor. She kept talking about that. She's talking to Doctah B, but she keeps mentioning, she won't even let me talk. I told her one thing she couldn't hear. I said, listen, this one thing she can't. No, but Doctah B, you don't understand. I'm a 3-time cancer. So every time she said I'm a cancer survivor, that means that she was saying I am cancer. And I survive with cancer. But she thought that was empowering her. When we talk about the oppression. We talk about all the stuff that was done to us first. We speak more in that language than we do in the language of solutions. That's why with GodPower, right? The first one we did, right? We gave 8 hours of solutions, real ones that you could use right now. And people are still having that effect of those solutions if you follow these tools, if you use these tools. So in part 2, we're going deeper. This thing of language is really, it's going to be your liberator or your lockdown. But you've got to learn this technique of having a kinesthetic, auditory, visual experience. And where your eyes are moving and how your neck and your face is moving and your body is moving has a lot to do with the outcome you're having. Brother Rich, you there?
Yeah. Give me an example. When you said where your eyes and everything is moving has a lot to do with the outcome. Give me an example, Doctah B.
If I say okay, let's try it. People who are out there, let's try it. Put your head straight ahead. Look straight ahead. And what we're going to do is think about something that is challenging from your past or anything from your past. Just do it right now.
Hold on, let me do it too. You said, hold on. Let me say that again, Doctah B. Let me get ready. Come on.
Okay. Go to your past for a second.
You said, look, I got to look straight?
Look straight ahead. Look straight ahead. Take your glasses off so I can see your eyes. Think about something from the past. It could be you back in New York on the corner playing the piano. Think about something from your past. Go there now.
Yeah.
And now mention it.
Out loud or in my mind?
You can say it out loud. The audience is going to say it in their minds.
My mother being in the hospital.
Okay. Now, what you're doing right now is you're so intentional. You've done so much, I don't want to call it work. You've done so much course correction. Your eyes are straight ahead. The average person, when they thought of the past, their eyes went to the left. If their eyes go up and to the left, they are remembering pictures, visual of the past. That is hitting their visual cortex. If their eyes go direct over to the left, then they're remembering sounds from the past. And if your eyes go down into the left, then you're remembering feelings.
Wow.
Some people, they don't even go, they just lean. Well,
that is true. Some people do that.
Over there. That's how they know in court.
Wow.
That's how your lawyer or the judge, these people know that you are telling a story that's a constructed story from the future that didn't happen. Because they ask you a few baseline questions. It's the lie detector test. They ask you some things that, to get a baseline when they're making that graph. Your muscle tension changes when you're telling something that's an actual fact. If something's being constructed, or if you're pulling something from the past, it causes a stress hormone. Chemicals from your brain start firing through your blood because you're reenacting something from the past that's causing your body to think that we're there again. Ooh. The body don't know. The body don't have eyes. Only your brain has eyes. The body can't see what's going on out there. You do. Damn. So we lean to the left, or so a lot of people have a limp on the left. They walk funny to the left.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They do something or they start itching. Because when I would work with clients, I'm reading body language. It's called pacing. It's called mirroring. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? I listen to the client say words. And first I need to figure out, is this person a kinesthetic speaker, auditory or visual? And how do we know? Because they say, man, I remember, man, and back in the day, and it just felt, and they keep mentioning feelings. They speak in the language of feelings, or another person speaks in the language of visions. Right. Some people speak in the language of what they saw. It depends on whether they're kinesthetic, auditory, or visual. Now, some are everything. They're all of it. Mm. But if a person keeps mentioning something in a certain way, and their language is of sight, then they're seeing things. They're creating visions based on movies in their head. Mm. Now, this thing about movies in your head is deep. Did you know that the movie of your life is totally different than what anybody else knows? So you think you know who you are, right? You have, this is me. This is who I am. I know how I act. I know what I like. Mm-hmm. So you have a private movie in your head that can't totally be explained to anybody else. Mm-hmm. So if you were to go to the movie theater because you're happy because they're making a movie about you, your movie's on the screen. Mm-hmm. So you walk into the movie theater. Just imagine this. You walk into the movie theater. You got your cayenne pepper popcorn with a little turmeric on it, right? You brought your own because they didn't have any there. You sit down in the movie theater and there's nobody in there but you and one other person. And you start watching the movie and all of a sudden you get a little disenchanted. Say, wait a minute. That's not my life. That's somebody else's life. It's me, but that's not exactly me. So you get up and you're upset. You want to leave. You want to go get your money back. Mm-hmm. But when you're leaving, you look and there's somebody else sitting there watching the movie who's happy. Guess who it is? Your mother. The movie you're watching on the screen is your mother's movie of you.
You took it there.
That's your mama's movie of you.
You took it there. I didn't know you was going there.
You feel me? So you say, wait a minute.
You cold-blooded, dog.
You look down and they got a lot of movies. There's 9 movies. All with your name on them, starring you.
That was your mama's movie of you. Damn, you cold-blooded.
And it was accurate for her because that's the way she envisions you.
Right.
So you go to the next one and you get in and you got your popcorn. You got your turmeric and just got a little garlic on the popcorn now. Yeah. You sit down and you're watching the movie. Nobody there is but one other person.
Right.
And you're not happy with what you see. That's not really me. You look and you're walking out. That's your father. In every movie theater you go in about you, with somebody else is there, they're watching the movie that they see about you. You have no idea. You should be skeptical of who you think you are to other people. This right here is where the roots meet the dirt.
This the one right here. Somebody said this is a missing link to our consciousness that we're receiving right now. Yeah. Doc, let me ask you, Doc, how long are you spending on this particular topic in the workshop in October?
I don't know. You said I had like an hour. I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't have any time.
You got 4 hours all together.
I don't have no time. I don't know what time is.
Damn, this
time
is
confuses me.
Doc, this is fire.
Time confuses me. I'm out of time. Yeah. To snatch this the way I'm snatching it, the way everybody has the ability to allow themselves. You got to learn to allow yourself to snatch this stuff as it comes because it's coming instantly.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to go deep because this is going to be the biggest piece. We're going to talk about language and what it means because the movie that you have of yourself is a private movie that you're seeing and nobody else is seeing it. And so you think somebody else knows what you like. The woman was upset with me because this is when I was doing Valentine's Day before I knew where that came from. And she was upset because I brought her the wrong candies. This is the first Valentine's Day we ever had. We never even talked about Valentine's Day. I come and bring her some candies and she says, "Oh, what are those?" I said, "This is candies. It's Valentine's." He says, "You know I don't like Edderman's. If you love me, you knew I like C's candies. I don't like Edderman's." I'm like, okay. And she gets upset. It becomes an argument because she says, if you love me, you say you love me, then you would know what I like. Let me tell y'all something right now. Get this. If you're on here, you need to get this. You don't know what anybody likes. And you can't assume that people like what you think they like because you don't even know anybody. Oh, come on, Dr. B, what you mean? You don't. You just barely know yourself because every second, every millisecond of the day and night, your cells, you're at the quantum level, your entire body is disappearing and reappearing. There's a gap where there's nothing. There's no one. There's a gap. I need you to hear this. There's a thing called the gap where you're exchanging information from one self to the next self. And you're rebuilding, reconstructing yourself based on the memory and the belief that you think you have. So if you are at this point where you realize that you are not who you think you are, but who are you creating? That's who you really are. But you're not what you think you are to other people. You're not. I have no idea how people see Dr. B. Let me tell you something. I met Andrew Young today. And I just happened to go to this place and they were like, "Well, Dr. B, oh my God, Dr. B is here." They were having this ribbon cutting. I just pulled over to see what's happening. "Oh my God, Dr. B's here. Dr. B, can you get up and talk?" And Andrew Young, I mean, this man is a historical figure. You know, he was Martin Luther King. I mean, the stuff that this man has done, he's got to be in his 80s. And after he finished talking, they announced me. I didn't know I was going to be saying anything. Just take a few minutes, Dr. B, and tell the people who you are and what you're doing. So I mentioned Dick Gregory, and afterwards, Andrew Young, he grabs my hand because he's right there next to me. And he starts talking. He says, "Man, you're a student of Dick Gregory. Oh my gosh, man. We were so close. That was one of my best friends." And he says something to me. He says, "You know, you said Dr. B you said Dick Gregory talked about we a lot. That's a deep concept to get out of me and move into we, because we're in a time where we have to become together as one. But first, in order for you to be a part of we, you got to figure out who you are and you got to shuffle your stuff out." And something deep was happening because the man was holding my hands and he was looking me directly in my eye. The energy that was coming from this man and the programming that he was downloading to me was amazing. It shifted me. It was only like maybe because he wouldn't let go of my hand for like 3 minutes, and he had a special handshake. He was holding me at a special point. I said, "Man, is this man doing acupressure?" And he was pressing on my hand in a certain place and he was downloading. And I was like, wait a minute. I just changed in that moment because this man who's been around a very long time, who has a lot of wiseness, you know what I'm saying? He says, "Don't be afraid of the FBI because you need to let them know what you're doing. And that way they leave you alone. Just tell them. Don't try to be all secret." He's breaking this stuff down. But what I realize is that we are changing in every moment if we allow. Don't assume that everybody knows you and that you are who you think you are. You have a chance to change. What we're offering in GodPower and what we offered in 1 and what we're going to go and take it a quantum leap up in 2 is how to tap into the natural God power in you. The whole concept of God being out there. And let me tell you another one. I'm going to let you talk in a minute. We got this thing about God. And even though some of us are spiritual now, we're not into that anymore. Your subconscious says, yes, the hell we are. Your subconscious is like, no, grandma, great-grandma, papa, mama, who all the people you love was into this. The subconscious is a deep thing. Your ego and your conscious mind says no. So then we change it. And you say, well, the ancestors told me. See, it still ain't you, huh? It's not you. It's out there. And then we got a new one. Spirit is telling me. Who is spirit? Spirit tells me. Who is spirit? If you say me, I I told myself. I allowed myself to hear myself, to speak through myself, and I gathered all this from the environment. Yet ancestors and all them are affecting you, but it is you who are the DJ. You're the cut selector. You're the musician. You're the keyboard player, the guitar. When you realize, first of all, how to control your face and your eyes when you're speaking and your body, right? You're going to need to know how to control your body so you're not tapping into these egregors. You know, egregors is deep, man. These are like concepts that have become real. These are like beings. You've studied this being and gave this being so much life, it's almost alive. But it's really like what they call a miasma, a smell and a feeling of something that's been created by you and your grandparents. When you start saying, first of all, and you get out of the victim archetype, I allowed myself to be ripped off. I allowed myself to be hurt by that person. I allowed this person's words to affect me. Now you start taking charge of the ship. The next thing is you realize that you are a ship, a vehicle.
Right.
You are the captain of the ship, but it has a crew. And the crew is the rest of you. Now you start saying we. And when you start saying we, yes, magic starts happening.
Yes.
I don't know if I answered any of your questions, but thank you.
You just been flowing tonight. I ain't even, I ain't have no shit. You just flowing, brother. I mean, you got me hyped. Wow, Doc. Like I know you was coming with this direction. For the workshop, Doc, I think you're going from 11 to 4, I think.
Yeah.
That's 5 hours. Now I know you said you don't you going no, because Billy's at 7. Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. You need at least 4 or 5 hours, Doc.
I think you better expand. I told y'all this last time. I don't know,
Yeah, we're gonna
try to keep
Doc,
Doc
gonna get about wow, that's wow. You made me so Doc with the neuro-linguistic. Well, first of all, let me tell the people. So Doc is going to be one of the topics Doctah B is dealing with in the workshop is neuro-linguistic programming. Wow, I'm amazed by that. I didn't know it was you was going to explain it like that. But what I want to ask you is, well, the link is at the top of the chat for those of you who want to purchase the ticket. Make sure you get the ticket early. The tickets is the link to get the ticket is pinned at the top of the chat. GodPower Part 2 featuring Doctah B and Billy Carson. But what I want to ask you, Doctah B, is so not only is neuro-linguistic program going to benefit us, but it's also like a human lie detector test when we're talking with other individuals, right?
You see, when people are talking, see, I also studied Ayurveda.
What's that? What do you mean? No, that's that Indian
the Indian naturopathic medicine.
Right. Yeah.
Because part of my quote unquote ancestors are from India.
Right.
So I've got India, what you're calling Africa, and I've also got Native American. So it's all in all of us. We all have all of this actually. Ayurveda takes everything into consideration. The way a person walks, the way they talk tells you a lot about what's going on with them in their physiology. People have certain illnesses or certain things in common based on how they walk, how they talk, how they explain, how they move their eyes. So when you're talking to people, you can quickly figure out not just what they're saying, but what they mean to say or what they're feeling. I learned this originally from music. Guitar players all have a certain way of walking. Bass players. I could tell what instrument a lot of people play before they walk into a room. Like Prince, he walks like a person that plays all the instruments. Stevie Wonder too. They play all the instruments.
Wow.
You see, so to me, I'm like, in a band all the time. My life is a band. I'm watching the music of the person, the way they talk, the way they move. And everything about them is giving me signals and telling me what notes they play and what harmony they have and what melody they have, what chords they're playing in life, because we're all musicians. So when you learn this type of rhythm and you learn your rhythm, that's the most important thing. You got to know your rhythm. your tone, your frequency, your time signature, your timing. See, a lot of us, our timing is off. Because the time clock that you got was Greenwich Mean Time. That's a deep thing. You mean all the clocks are set to Greenwich Mean Time? That's what, when that Big Ben, when they ring that bell, that's what tells all the clocks in the world what time it is. When it used to be based on Khufu, the large pyramid, that was where the time meridian began. And they moved it to Greenwich. Sound like Wizard of Oz to me. The Greenwich Mean Time. Your timing is off. What you think day is and what you think night is off. All this stuff about, oh boy, Dr. B, in order to be healthy, you have to be asleep at these hours. You have to be awake. Man, let me tell you something. If that's what you believe, then it's true. If that was the case, I'm supposed to be out of here because I've been up all night most of my life. And I'm tapped in because when the lights go down, when the sun, check this out. Did you know when the sun goes down, you can tap all the way in? You know why? The sun is bright. The sun is so bright, it's the biggest star in the sky close to us. So it shades out the light of all, it blares out all, it takes over the sky. So you can't see and feel the energy from the other stars. With your sons, and some of them are bigger and much older and have more information to give you than your son. Your son is young. This is a young son. And I don't know if you saw this tonight when the sun was going down, it was 2 suns. A lot of people sending me, I think I might even have a picture of it. Somebody sent me a picture tonight and I had to go check this out. Where is it here? Somebody said, Dr. B, you see the 2 suns?
Yeah, please send me that picture. Wow.
Let me see if I can send this to you. What's your name? What's your name? Now, what's your name? My grandmother said, now, what's that boy's name? Now, he ain't got no job. You better be careful. He ain't got. How does he sustain himself?
Sustain.
How does he sustain? And has he mentioned Jesus to you at all or church? Church. Okay. I just put bro in and you pop up. Look at that. There's no other bros in the whole thing.
In the whole multiverse?
Right. I want you to look at that. This is tonight. Do you see that?
Oh, okay. Damn.
It wasn't no time for Memorex and Photoshop. It's the 2 suns.
Where was this at? Where was it? What state?
This was in, I think, in North Carolina.
Carolinas, okay.
But it was everywhere.
Wow.
It was 2 suns. Well, I mean, how's that possible? Because it's 2 suns. It's at least 2 Earths. The other Earth is on the other side of the sun. You can't see it because when we get over there, it's over here. And when you get over here, it's over there.
Did Gregory used to talk about that other Earth?
The doppelganger effect. It's 2 of you. First of all, they say there's at least 144 of you. And then some people will say it's 144,000 you. But because we're stuck in this time loop, the Green Witch has got you believing that it's the time they say it is. When you realize that somebody's telling you everything so that you don't even have time to feel it. You don't know it because they didn't, you need facts. I got to see it, Dr. B, show it to me. And people see it, they say, oh, wait a minute, somebody manipulated this picture. That picture's fresh. What are we talking about? There's 2 suns. We're in a 2-sun system. You have agreed to something so much that now your eyes see it. We have agreed that we agree that the color blue is the color blue, but some people who are colorblind say, well, no, it's like a gray. We're living in a life of agreements. And some of these agreements are in perpetuity. You'll always believe it until you break the spell. So what are the things that break spells? There's certain movements and certain exercises that break spells. There's certain ways you can move your eyes. I'm going to teach you an eye movement, right? In GodPower that breaks the spell. I'm going to teach you a way of moving your neck and your head while you're breathing that breaks the spell. These are things that, and I just happen to be around all these people because I've had 13 teachers and they all gave me these little pieces. Just that one piece that my grandmother gave me. Don't leave home without a prayer. Did you leave home with a prayer today, without a prayer today? You leave home just think, I got to get to work. I got to get here. I got to go here. I got to do my show. I got to do this. But what was the prayer? What was your main meditation? What was your goal? And did you have that in the back of your head, or were you worried about what time it was and what time you was going to eat? I have to eat by such and such. It's like Pavlov's dog. They ring a bell, and all of a sudden it's dinner time. You get hungry. Because we're being triggered through neuro-linguistic programming, where they keep giving us visual, auditory, kinesthetic, right, notions or signatures, or they keep telling you what's happening. See, a lot of this are what they call nocebos. You know what a nocebo is, right? You know what a placebo is, right?
Right.
So a lot of times they're giving you a medicine and it's just sugar, a sugar pill, a salt pill. Really, it's just a little chalk. You take it. The doctor tells you what it's going to do. They never give you something without telling you what it's supposed to do. They don't even tell you the side effects because sometimes they don't know the side effects. They don't know what's going to happen when they give this to you, Brother Mustafa. Now, Mr. Mustafa, you have a kidney problem and you're looking at diabetes. Do you have doctor? No, you're looking at diabetes. They tell you you're pre-diabetic. That means I'm not diabetic. You're pre-cancerous. That means I'm not cancerous yet. You're pre-ignorant. That means you're not ignorant yet. Right? Right? And they give it to you, and you believe it. So it has an effect. And a whole lot of the medicines don't do anything. It's in your mind. Your mind did it. Your mind is the first medicine, but your mind is also the first disease. So check this out. A nocebo is when they tell you something and just get you to believe it to the point where it happens. It manifests because you believed it so much. That's a nocebo. If they tell you about a disease that people are going to get, I saw a commercial one time. I couldn't believe it. They said 3 out of 5 black men are going to get a prostate cancer. This was the newsman. I mean, he wasn't the newsman, but he was an authoritative figure. You see, when you get that authoritative voice and they got those authoritative pictures and those graphics, this is right. You get this cognitive dissonance, and all of a sudden, you start creating it. When you get a certain age, this is going to happen, Doctor B. You're going to get this such and such, and they tell you it. They keep programming you.
Right.
And this is your loved ones. This is people you care about. These are authority figures. So you learned everything through modeling, monkey see, monkey do. But you've got to break the spell, because right now, the way the earth is spinning, it's wobbling differently. The North Star is not even the same North Star anymore. The sun, you're getting to see these glitches in the matrix where it's 2 suns. You're talking about UFOs. Let me tell you something. I wish Billy was here tonight. He's over there across the big lake.
In London.
Did you know that there's probably UFOs in your room right now?
In my room, Doc, man. Come on, where you come up with this shit, man? In my room, Doc? In my room, man? Come on, man. Damn, Doc. You got to explain that one.
You have been trained to believe in things that you see and you agree to so much. There's some things that are there that you cannot see because you haven't agreed to them.
Because you haven't agreed to it. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
There's so many things that I see that if I hadn't been seeing them since I was a child, they'd blow my mind. I'd be afraid. In my room, in your bed, a whole lot of you think you're home sleeping alone. You ain't sleeping alone. There's a process that we do. In fact, I'm going to give it to you during, God, this is another thing. You're going to have to give me another hour. Call Billy. Y'all need to change that time because this is important.
Well, real quick, before you continue, I think what we're going to do, you're going to start at 10 a.m. and you'll go from 10. Y'all have about 5 to 6 hours. So you'll start earlier and then you'll just run to 3 or 4, whatever. Okay. But yeah, good. You got a lot of time. Good.
There's a process which is called an eviction party. Mm-hmm. It's something that I created when I was studying, subconscious alignment, and I was realizing I had to turn everything around because everything was programmed for the European mindset. And I said, I would like to affect all people. So I'm going to have to learn this other piece and deal with neuromelanin and look at how melanin is affecting the people who have more melanin differently than people that have less. So during this, a lot of us have a being living with us who's the saboteur.
Oh, shit.
You needed it because you've been through trauma.
Right.
You needed it because you've been oppressed. Even some of the stuff you were taught, Santa Claus and all this stuff, and the Tooth Fairy, and I mean, come on, man. Rockabye Baby on the treetop, and what happens? The baby falls, and this is the song they singing to the child. Them cartoons that we used to see back in the days, it was all, So let me just say this much. I'm gonna make it clear. Breathe, Doctah B, breathe, because I get so excited. I'm just, man, this is off the chain. This is crazy. There's a process where you evict your saboteur. And it's so deep because there are times you could sit down, let's say on a couch.
Yeah.
And if you're really sensitive and really quiet in your mind, you will see the pads next to you go down too.
Wait, you'll see what go down? What'd you say?
Like the chair. So the couch,
okay.
sitting on the couch.
Oh, like somebody's sitting. Okay.
You sit down. Once you start recognizing this other being.
Oh, man.
Which is an egregor. It's a being. It actually lives. It's the other you. And once you're able to do this process, you're going to put the person outside of you. And I show you how to do that, right? Once you put the person outside of you, you could sit down on a couch. And the other side of the couch will go down a little bit too. Because the being is actually there. There is an alien being that you have made friends with, like in E.T., and brought it home.
This is genius. This is genius.
And the being actually lives because whatever you're putting into the cosmic field, into the quantum field, with your waves, the waves, right? After a certain amount of time, the waves become particles.
Right.
So you actually are walking around with these other beings, which are ideas or feelings or emotions or whatever, that have quantified into a being. So during this eviction process, we show you, please write that down, that I'm going to talk about the eviction process.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
This is
I'm going to add it. Yeah, you just channeled that, huh?
This is coming through now.
Okay.
This is the God power within me, my own God power.
Y'all seeing it in real time. I'm going to add this to the Eventbrite page.
This is huge.
Process. Just call it the eviction process? Is there a certain name?
The eviction process. There's a way to evict this being that's been living with you, limiting you, that causes you to have lack, limitation, and not enoughness in the program so deep that even when you become conscious, it's still there. This is why you keep talking about the ancestors. I'm not saying the ancestors don't exist, but you don't even want to. You don't even want to say that was me. It was the ancestors. It was the spirits. They told me. When you start saying I, and then when you get out of I, you get to we. Now this is deep. When you realize that you are a complete universe. And there's so many beings living inside you. Just if you start studying the microflora, the microbiome, do you know how many conscious beings are living in you? They don't know there's anybody out there. They don't know. Just like you're inside what we call the universe. Do you know the universe is a being? That we live inside of a being, but we're not conscious of it because we're like when the dragonfly is a little baby, it's underwater. What they call it, a nymph or newt? It's a nymph. Check this out. The dragonfly baby is underwater for most of its life, for a long time, and it doesn't breathe. Please look up the dragonfly life cycle. It's underwater. It don't have gills. It don't have lungs. They don't know how it lives. The only thing it knows is the water. Then all of a sudden, a trigger happens and it finds a reed, and the dragonfly crawls up the reed full of the water. And it just stays there, and it cracks open its skin or shell, and the long body that we know of the dragonfly comes out. And the wings are very frail, and they're all crumpled up. The thing is full of water. It pumps water into its wings, so the wings unfold. The dragonfly has to breathe water into its wings for it to fly. The water represents the time that we've been in, called the time of emotion and the time of the victim, because the water is murky, it's heavy. Emotions usually have to do with water. We're now moving out of so much. It's like emotion is not bad, but if you have, you're hyper emotive, you're hyper emotional, everything messes with you. Words, somebody said something, you're crying and hurt because they said something. They didn't even touch you, but you're so triggered because they called you a bad name and you decided what a bad name was. Like the man flipped me off on the street one day. He flipped me off and mouthed, the nigger word. He mouthed it. And he was one of them, you know what I'm saying? His neck was red, you know what I'm saying? What did I do? I looked at him and I smiled and I went like this. And he looked back and he grabbed his steering wheel. His face was wrinkled and he rushed off. And I knew I was going to catch him at the next light because I don't care how fast you go. There's still, everybody's going to get to the light at the same time. I don't care how fast you go. We get to the next light. Guess what? He's looking straight ahead. He's gritting his teeth, right? And he kind of looks over at me and I do it again. By the third light, the man was crying.
Damn.
Because you can't hurt me with these words.
You got him. You got him on that one.
I love me, myself. You cannot affect me. Once you are able to take the water that's within you, all the extra emotion that you got for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years on this planet that got you to agree that everything is a victim. The devil is a victim. Your parents are victims. Everybody's victimized. You go down and vote, you vote Victocrat. Why? Because you vote because you're scared of who might win. When actually nobody won. Wasn't even nothing happened. It was a whole story, a whole masquerade, and you down there pushing buttons, think your vote means something. What volt means something is the voltage and the energy and electricity within you. But because you wearing clothes made out of polyester and rayon and inorganic cotton, that means that your voltage, you don't have enough voltage in your body. Did you know that did you know that they suck the electricity from your auric field? Wool will give you 5,000 volts of electricity. Add to your auric field, 5,000 volts. You can feel stuff before it happens wearing wool. Did you know that linen gives you 5,000 volts? Linen is flax. Just by wearing linen, which this is linen, I'm sucking electricity in from the environment and sending it back. I'm living in a biosphere. I'm living in a magnetosphere. But the clothing that you buy that's cheap. Even cotton. Cotton is a negative 100 volts unless it's organic cotton. And you know the best cotton is that Japanese cotton.
Oh, yeah.
You know, my friend, he uses vapes, right? He does vaporizers.
Yeah.
You know, he smokes vapes. He knows everything about vapes. He makes them, he builds them, he orders them from all over the world. Every time you're there, you got to be put on a gas mask because he's going to be vaping, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, there's a filament that we use in the vape made of cotton. And he says it can only be Japanese organic cotton. I said, why? He said, because if you use American cotton, it will kill you. You take one breath, you'll die. I said, what do you mean? He says, only the Japanese organic cotton is going to increase the life force energy of what we're doing. Organic cotton will aid you and give you 100 volts because your body is a voltage generator. It's a capacitor. It holds energy, but it also emits energy. But also, if you realize that your emotions are electrical, if you're highly emotive and you're always, you blow up, you snap all the time, everything is hurting you, people are hurting you, your pain is hurting you, you concentrate on your dis-ease, it's sucking energy from your body. There's a process where you can begin to program yourself to evict the one who is living in pain, living in hell. That's the egregor that you've created over time. This other being is haunting you. That is the devil. The devil. You got to outwit the devil. Who is the devil? It ain't some dude with horns. It's you blowing your own horn. Horns. So you thought they had something to do with the horns. No, it's sounds. It's frequencies that you're hearing in your head that you're haunted by. Mm-hmm. Oh, Dr. B, sometimes I scare my own self. Huh? Yeah, people say, man, I scared my own self. Man, I did something, man. I made a pen move one time on the table. Dude told me, man, I was concentrating on the pen and it moved. I scared my own self. I'll never do that again. Huh? Because you actually was able to move material. You know, we can do this. And we're all telepathic. We're all telepathic. But what path are you on? What is the path you're telling? What is the story you're telling? Once you crawl up the reed and out of the waters of emotion, and once you realize that we're at the place where humanity, or people on the planet, if you don't want to use the word humanity, people get funny with words. Once you realize that we're crawling up the reed, now we got to take the waters of the past and blow it into our wings. Then we begin to fly. And we begin to truly ascend. Ascension is not something where you ain't going to feel pain. You going through hell. This is not going to be easy for the average person. If you think that, oh boy, we're just going to use a singing bowl and I've got my crystals and my sage and I'm going to say this thing over and over and over that I learned in class the other night. To break away from the old you, you have to be ready to blow the old emotion into your wings. You're going to use the emotion, right, to blow it into your wings, to spread your wings, and that shit hurts. Mm. Then all of a sudden you begin to fly. And as you know, the dragonfly doesn't necessarily fly. It levitates. Mm-hmm. And you know, the dragonflies, when they make love, they make a heart. You have to watch it. They're making a heart. They're lovers. Have you noticed all the dragonflies outside? I watched
in Georgia, yeah.
I was watching, I never seen them flock together. I don't know if you call them a flock or a herd or a group or a gang. All around. It was all around my house. I was looking, what are those? They was just, and I was looking at the life of the dragonfly. Go look up the life of the dragonfly and look up the spiritual meaning of the dragonfly. We are in the dragonfly period, which means that right now we've got to crawl up the reed or we're going to drown. People are drowning. The average person is drowning. They're drowning. They keep talking about the problem on and on and on, you know, and I'm listening to people more and more. And I'm like, the people are gone. It's over for the average person. There's nothing you could do. Whew. Unless you could tap into your natural God power, right? And stop putting things so far outside of you and blaming everybody outside of you and looking and giving credit to everything outside of you and say, you know, I did this. Man, look at the world I created. I got myself into this. Only you can get yourself out of it. Only the slave can free itself from slavery. But you can't do it just by, you read a lot of books. Oh man, Dr. B, I read a lot of books. I read all these books this week, Dr. B. Check this out, Dr. B. I read all these books. The book is not a referent. It's a reference. If I got a lot of knowledge, and I'm not saying don't read books. I'm saying now you got to actualize. You need to have something actually happen. And sometimes something actually happens is painful at first because you're not used to it. You must be ready to go into the dark field. You must be ready to go into the shadow self. And let me break this down real quick. And I'm going to slow down because I know you're looking at that clock. This whole thing about the shadow self, I'm about tired of this.
Uh-oh.
I'm done.
Uh-oh.
Y'all can have the shadow talk. Oh, you've got to get into your shadow self. I've been listening for a while. Sounds good, the shadow self. You know what I'm saying? Half of it scares the hell out of me, the shadow self. That sounds like the movies. Wasn't there some movie, Dark Shadows, back in the day? You know what I'm saying? Stuff was happening to folks. I'm done with the shadow talk. I'm going to break the shadow thing down real quick. How do you deal with your shadow self? You ready?
I'm ready.
The thing that you find to be hard, or the thing that scares you the most, you do it. I'm scared to call them and make that phone call because they may see you're thinking ahead of what you think might happen when you go into the new world or into the unknown or into the dark field. You have already talked yourself into what you think is going to happen. And a lot of times you would rather not change because you're used to the pain. You're used to the drama and the trauma that you have. At least you're used to it. But that unknown, I can't go there. Long as you realize everything is tied to its opposite, this gets deep. This is tied to something else, just like GodPower 1 is tied to GodPower 2. If you took GodPower 1, GodPower 2 is going to take you all the way out the universe. If you only do GodPower 2, you will have the tools that you need to become the dragonfly and crawl up the reed. If you did both and you start looking at and attracting and allowing GodPower 3, which is on the way, we haven't talked about it, but we got to go there because you can't do things in twos. 2 things make 3. 1 + 1 = 3. So what I am saying is to get into what we call the shadow self, the only thing you have to do is first recognize that you have a shadow self that's in opposition. You have a self that is the saboteur, who lives in lack, limitation, not enoughness, anger, fear, grief, all those emotions that haven't been totally processed. So all we got to do is the opposite. The thing that you're really afraid to do, you do. Just go do it. Don't be sitting at the edge of the pool, sticking your little finger in, your little toe. Oh my God, it's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. Jump your ass in. Then you can't do nothing, then you're in. Once you're in there, you're in there. It ain't even as bad as you thought. Oh, this is not that bad. You scream from it. Ah! But once you're in that cold water, what happens? Your immune system begins to come online. That hot shower, your immune system ain't coming on in that hot shower. It's too hot. It's too normal. It's okay. It's no problems. When you jump in that cold water, you're jumping into the opposition, and it changes your whole system. Your neurons begin to change. When you start doing the opposite thing, instead of going to work the same way, take the opposite. Take the long route. You want the shortcut. Everybody wants the shortcut today. No, take the long cut. If you take the long cut and go through the trial and tribulation, you start dealing with stuff and you start seeing things and experiencing things you never would experience. I would like you to meet the other selves that you have that are causing you your issues. If you have a dis-ease, there's a part of you that is living in ease. You cannot have a dis-ease. I need y'all to hear me right now, what I'm saying to you. You cannot have a dis-ease unless you have an ease. If you have a dis-ease, at the same time, what is happening is the ease. If you are unhealthy, the only way you could be unhealthy is to also be healthy. The only way there could be an up is for there to be a down. And as we talked about in GodPower 1, if you want to turn on your pineal, we got to start at your anus. What? So y'all know, y'all took GodPower 1. If you didn't go, better go find it. In order to put pressure to turn on the piezoelectric crystals in your pineal, you have to start with the anus. As above, so below. Everything is connected to its opposite. Brother Rich?
Yeah, man. Wow. Man. You brought some fire tonight, Doctah B. And seemed like you got a different aura different aura to you tonight. You got a, I don't know how to explain it, but you must have went through something spiritual or something, brother. You got a different, you even glowing a little more tonight, Dr. B. I don't know what's been going on in your personal life, brother, but I can see it. You got a whole different aura with you tonight, and it's you know, graduated to another level, my brother. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I talked to you a lot over the phone, man. You one hell of a dude. You one hell of a god down here, and I'm honored to do this workshop with you, my brother. And I'm very, I don't just put them together. I don't put them on for the people to watch. I watch them as well, and I study them just like I study the prayers, man. I'm looking forward to your part, man. Like you are between the mind idioms, the personal kinesiology. Now you just added the eviction process, the whole brain connection that you're going. Dr. B, man, you got this shit going on, man. You got the glow, brother. You got the juice, man.
First of all, I'm gonna give you
sign up for sign up. The link is in the top of the chat. If you want to sign up for Blueprint for GodPower 2, this dude here ain't no joke, man. I've had a great week with great shows, man. This shit is amazing, man. And you just made this even better, man. But go ahead, brother. What you was about to say?
I'm gonna give you a very deep explanation of what has happened to Dr. B in the last 6 weeks. You ready?
You look different. Go ahead, brother.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready, sir.
I snapped.
What do you mean? Like went crazy? Like
I snapped.
Yeah.
I snapped.
Shit. Well, by yourself or to some in front of somebody, or just by yourself?
I snapped.
Okay.
You started it
with the
prayers. The 7 prayers.
That was the start of it?
That was the beginning of me snapping.
Shit.
In fact, I just did a whole 4 hours about it on Saturday. If you go to my website, elevationtime.com, and you go to Dr. B's Natural Solutions, I did a talk. It's free. You can go watch it right now. I talked about what happened to me when you started talking about the 7 prayers. Every time you mention the 7 prayers, I'd get this feeling in my gut.
I see it in your face when I said, damn, yo.
I said, man, no, my body was like, don't do these 7 prayers. Let him go do this. Don't show up. Everything in the world went against me doing this. Everything in my world. Don't go. Don't go do the 7 prayers. My old self fought me.
Didn't want you to.
And then I went, and I don't know what happened when I walked in that room. Billy Carson saw me on the curb out there. He says, Dr. B, are you okay? I said, no. He just looked at me. And he wasn't okay either. He went to telling me all the stuff. I couldn't even tell him what was happening with me. I was losing my mind. And when I actually did the prayer, I don't remember it because I was having an out-of-body experience. I snapped. Then I went to a hotel room, right? I was supposed to go back home that same day. I couldn't. My fever had to be 104 because I know I couldn't remember. I didn't even know what a cell phone was. I was looking at it. What is this thing? I didn't know how to use it. I talk about that in that webinar I did on Saturday. I'm just now able to talk about it. And what has been going on with me is I have been, letting it all go. Sometimes you got to snap and lose your mind because it ain't yours. That's why I say, you got to travel light. Half that luggage you got is not yours. Half the programming in me, even though Dr. B, he's deep. No, Dr. B's actually shallow. I'm having an experience constantly. This shit is deep. The difference is that I don't work, because that means war. I don't worship. I don't ride on a warship. I allow. I'm allowing myself to be my new self. The awards ceremony took me out. And, I was thinking, well, what am I going to say when I get up there, right? And I figured it out. I said, when I win, I'm going to say, look, because I knew I was going to cry. I said, when I win, I'm going to say, I'm not crying because of this award. I'm crying because of these shoes. These shoes is a government program. These hard, because I don't wear no hard ass shoes. You know what I'm saying? And I had to put my feet in these tuxedo shoes. And at that point, I realized that the shoes are controlling your brain. What's happening at the bottom of your bodies is causing you the top of your body to have an effect. The shoes was kicking my ass. That's why I had to get out of that tuxedo. Why am I wearing this? Because you have to. This is it. So blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing it. But that I had to go through that and feel what people feel. But the awards, me just allowing myself to even go and accept something when I'm always helping other people all my life. You see what I'm saying? A lot of us have chronic, right, servitude syndrome. We're always helping other people, giving it all away. Giving it to them, don't take it. Bad black sheep. Have you any wool? Yes, sir. 3 bags full. What? You mean the black sheep? You done told black sheep that they need to give it all away? Black sheep don't give nothing away. But they programmed it in your head with a nursery rhyme. Black sheeps jump the fence. I'm saying, y'all, are y'all ready to jump the fence? Because I'm jumping my own fence and you coming with me. Otherwise, hang up and get off. All this talk about, oh boy, this stuff we have is talk. It sounds good. It's time to feel good. It's time to release. When we start talking about the whole brain state that we're going to talk about on this in the class, do you realize how powerful it is to have a whole brain state? That means your conscious mind and your subconscious mind is what? Working together in series. Instead of your subconscious mind is in opposition to what your conscious thought is. What you want and what you desire, your subconscious says, hell no. I'm conscious and I'm free. Subconscious say, no, you're not. When you say I am, you know what your subconscious says? No, the hell you not. But your ego, right? Says, no, I am. Subconscious says you're not. It's so much programming that you don't know anything about. You got to get your subconscious ideas to become conscious before you can work on them. Something subconscious has to become conscious before you can begin to correct it and change the course. But there's a way to pull that stuff up. Luckily, not luckily, but fortunately, I've been in all these different places all my life and seen all these things and been the spook that sat by the door. All these pieces that I have gathered together, right? It's right now, this particular information is of the utmost importance. Then when I hook up with Billy Carson and you, it all comes together because Billy Carson's got the other piece. We're like yin and yang and yin. He's giving it to you straight. Me, I'm saying, look, even when you let's show the commercial again. Can you show the slide for GodPower 2, brother? I want to show you something. Brother Rich, are you there? Brother Rich.
Yeah. I'm here. My fault.
Brother Rich.
Yeah, man.
Show the slide, man, for GodPower 2. Let me show you something.
All right.
Now, I'm not sure who put this together, but if you look over Billy's head, you have the stars of the Sirius system. He's got these special stars above his head. They're coming out of his head. It's a mist coming out of his head. And there's these clouds around him. And it's like there's this energy of the moose coming from him. The moose you look at the spiritual meaning of the moose. The muse is the moose. The moose is the muse. Out of him. Now, over my head, they got lightning. That's why I'm feeling like this, because this lightning is striking. I don't know who put this together. I was going to ask Billy, man, who made this slide? Because this slide is showing you exactly what's happening. And in between Billy and I is water. Did you see that? There's water, and the sun is beginning to set on the water. This picture is already creating the vortex into our next level of ascension. Just the picture. The two does not mean what you think it means. Wisdom, when you understand what two means and where the word comes from, which is toi, it's a lot of language in the words. What we're going to talk about is how to create a whole brain state, because Billy and I are going to be talking about the same stuff, just two different ways. Because some people needed the Billy Carson way, some people needed the Doctah B way, and then that comes together. You see, and it's the coming together, the we. And if you look at us, this makes a W. If you look at me, I'm one side of the W. The two is where the point is in the W, and Billy's on the other. It's a W. The double you. There's two of you that we're going to say, look, let's take the two of you, the double you, and what? We're going to create we. And we has so much more power than me. We. You're a universe. You deserve the very best. It is your right to step into this. This is your time to be who you came to be at 100%. You won't get a chance next year. Because we're moving out of 7. We're moving into 8. Next year is going to be an 8. That's got to do with what? Theta. That by the time you get to 8, you're already supposed to be a god that can build or destroy. That's what 8 has to do with. Theta. The bridge. Meditation. The theta waves. Acha. Acha is theta, right? Theta is Acha, which is Eta. Eta is theta, which is Acha, which is a bridge between two worlds. Whew. That's next year. This year is 7. This is like God existing in you. This is your God power. The most power right now that you need, right, is at 7. We crawl up the reed, as the dragonfly. This is all about dragonfly medicine. We crawl up the reed, out of the water, the murky water, where we weren't even breathing. We were full of water. And now we got to open up these wings. And do that, it's going to take pure love, harmony, and forgiveness, which is a tough thing for a lot of folks because the victim archetype will keep you from forgiving. You need victims. You need a devil. You need a problem. You got to point to somebody. I caught the disease because they gave me a shot. They can't give you no shot unless you absorb it. They can't give you no disease. You allowed yourself to be in a state and you've done things, right? You did it unconsciously that created a dis-ease, an attitude or whatever. We have to claim it. Once you claim it and say, I am in control. I am the captain. I'm ready to be the captain right now. I am ready to become what? The God power. Well, you're going to get a blueprint because nobody's ever given the blueprint for God power. They're giving you the blueprint to go to church, the blueprint to worship this and to worship that, the blueprints for you to burn your sage and all of that kind of stuff, which is all good because you needed to do it. But now the blueprint for God power is online. Just the 7 prayers is changing people. And not to mention, we actually got let me just tell you this much.
Yeah.
We got Brother Michael Beckwith, Reverend Michael Beckwith, Dr. Michael Beckwith, to do the opening.
Wow.
He's doing the opening. You know, he's from The Secret. That's the brother with the locks.
Yeah.
Okay. He is doing a type of evocation, an opening, and a prayer that sets the event off. That's who's opening it. Look him up. Dr. Michael Beckwith or Reverend Michael Beckwith. He's on some other stuff. He ain't from the planet. You can look at him and tell he's not. Mm-hmm. Then we're working on I'm in the studio right now working on this music that will be the sound bed. There's a soundtrack where each of us, Brother Rich and Brother Billy and myself, we're working on a soundtrack. This music you're going to take home. You're going to have this to be able to play this music, and the frequencies, the tones, and the words, because some of these are going to have words and be guided meditations. Some are just going to be sounds, will take you into that theta state, which you're going to need for next year, right? But it will also cross the bridge from one side of your brain to the other. Because the best way to get down and cross the two brains together is with music. Music goes way deep between the conscious mind and the subconscious. So you're going to get 9 music pieces. We don't want to call them songs. They come with God power. You get those, when the event is happening. You'll get that as a download. Also, Brother Rich came up with a great idea. He said, Dr. B, why don't you do some music, a special piece that is like a sound bath? Well, people, when they hear this, it changes them, right? At the neuro-link level. You got neural links inside you. There's neurons inside you that are waiting for a certain frequency. So I just finished it. I just sent it to my people. They're editing it right now. And when I'm not doing a sound bath, I said, no, I'm not doing a sound bath. We're doing an immersive, what we call a sonic immersive experience. I went and created something that I've never done because you challenged me, brother. You challenged me to go beyond what they're all calling sound baths. Everybody got a sound bath. They all got a singing bowl. You know what I'm saying? And I'm playing a rhythm and a sound, right? That actually is a language to awaken, right, your mitochondria.
Wow.
It actually sends energy. It sends ATP to your mitochondria who are starving.
Starving, you said.
Most people's mitochondria are struggling right now. They about to leave. They about to look. This ain't working out here on Earth. And once your mitochondria leave, we're done. Because they're actually alien creatures. Mitochondria are not even part of you. Those are little beings that came together who are actually the machinery and the engine of every cell. They're not even, mitochondria is so deep, but they need energy. We've been sucking the energy out with fluorescent lights, with certain types of fabrics, certain foods, certain activities, certain tones, certain language. So what we created with this sonic immersive experience is something that's going to feed your mitochondria. So when you are involved in this particular pathway that we're creating, it's a doorway, it's a vortex, you can forget the past. Let it go. We got to let it go. Let's another love TKO. We got to let it go because you can't do anything with that. That's the water where the newt or what they call it, is it a nymph? The baby dragonfly lives underwater and it doesn't breathe. It doesn't know anything about the world out there until it crawls up that reed. We're crawling up the reed. How many of y'all were ready to crawl up the reed and spread your wings and elevate? How many of you are ready to go to the new world and create a new world out of the old world? How many of you are ready to meet your other self and let your old self go? How many of you are ready to learn the language of gods and learn the language of your own system? How many of you are ready to rise yourself, to be yourself for the first time in your life and let go all this other stuff that you think is going on out there, which was an illusion from the beginning? How many of you ready to purge all that stuff and start something new and become mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, where you're creating your life and become the lover that you came here to be? But first you got to figure out what is love and how to make love out of the things that are not love. That's called alchemy.
I want to take just a couple of questions if y'all have any questions or if y'all confused about the workshop, because Doc is bringing so much. He got the sound bath, we got the soundtrack, we got the 7 sacred prayers, we got the 9-hour lecture with him and Billy. So I just want to take a couple of questions for anybody who is curious about exactly what's going on with that. Hey, Rich, I purchased the previous GodPower and I'm having trouble pulling it back up to rewatch it. Email me, richardmerritt@yahoo.com. I got the workshop on my old computer. Is it on? Do I have it? We'll figure something out. But Camille, email me and I'll make sure you purchased it, and we'll take care of you. All right, but yeah, give me some questions about the workshop for Doctah B. Woo, man, you blew our mind tonight, Doctah B. And like I said, you got a different aura, you got a different spirit about you, my brother. And I just, I'm proud that you was able to let go of certain things and make that leap, man. I'm proud. I'm glad that the prayers helped you in the manner that it did.
All my formulas had to be reformulated. I had to reformulate everything. Why? Because they were created by the old me. After I've gone through this whole metamorphosis that I'm still going through, I said, I've got to create everything again. So I'm putting new energy, new technology, new ways into everything. So like I just took focus. This is not the same focus that you've seen me take. The cleanse, the parasite cleanse. I realized that the parasites that are having the most effect on people are mental parasites. Parasites of their mind that's eating them alive in the moment. Right. So we are reconfiguring everything. So everything at elevationtime.com, all the products are being reconfigured as we speak. So if you order them, you're going to get another level, another dose, because I'm putting myself into it. These are not being made in some lab somewhere in Montana. This is something where I'm immersed, putting myself into it, and I'm looking at what's happening in the environment. And what's happening in the environment is a beautiful thing. These storms and this heat oh, this is some deep stuff. This is all right on time. And it's for us, what? To ascend.
Indeed. I bought the tickets last night. How do I access the 7 prayers I need before I hurt someone's feelings? Just Joy, after the show, I'm going to send them out to everybody again. I think I sent it out last night, but I'm going to send it out again after tonight's show. The email will come from Eventbrite because I'm using their email system, and the link will be right in there for you to watch it.
So do they come right away? Do they get the prayer as soon as they sign up? I think some people are having a confusion with that.
Yeah, no. It usually takes up to 48 hours, but I'm gonna just send it out to everybody tonight. So if you purchase tickets tonight, I'll probably wait till a little after the show, give y'all some time. I'll send it out around midnight Eastern time. So if you purchase it, right after the show or during the show, you'll get it within the next hour. So yeah, I'll send it out by 1 o'clock. I'll give it 2 hours. I'll give people some time because there's a couple people watching this late. So if you purchase tickets tonight, everybody will get the 7-second prayers tonight. You can watch it late tonight or in the morning. All right. Kendricks, email me if you haven't received it. I sent it out about 8-9 times. So email me. A lot of people have received it. Email me and we'll figure out what's going on. There was something that somebody wanted to know. You mentioned the anus, and a lot of the dudes was like, pause. Like, whoa, Dr. B, what you talking about there? So explain what you meant by that. Clarify that for the people. Because you talked about that during GodPower 1. So clarify that for the brother Wayne world right here.
It's funny. He says, can Doc B touch more on the anus? Oh my gosh. In utero, they say that the first muscle to be created is the anus, and almost all your muscles in your body and also your meridians come together in the anus. Now, I wasn't there. I wasn't watching it, but this makes a lot of sense because that's what holds you together. That's what holds everything in. You see? So that's at the bottom of the pelvis. It's tightening everything. That's your digestive tract. Everything ends there. It is directly opposite your pineal, as above, so below. So a lot of people have been trying to do all this work on their brain and their head to get their pineal to come online. The pineal is piezoelectric crystals, calcite strings of crystals. It's made of a type of calcium. Some people say it's calcified. And that is a concept and a theory that we're not going to go there. But when you put pressure on a piezoelectric crystal, it glows. So inside my water, there's a quartz crystal, right? And if I were to take this crystal out and I was to have a vise, like a vise like they use in the shop, and I was to put pressure on it, with all the lights off, it would glow. Piezoelectric crystals, there are crystals that you put pressure on and they emit light or electricity. The pineal gland is it's a crystalline system that you put pressure on. How you put pressure on is you have to start at the anus. We talk about this in GodPower 1. Please go get GodPower 1. If you can't find it, go to elevationtime.com. We still have it there on the website. You can go get GodPower 1. But you start this exercise by squeezing the anus, and you squeeze energy all the way up your spine, which is squeezing the cerebral spinal fluid all the way up your spine. And there's a way that you push that fluid up against your pineal, and your pineal begins to glow. It has to do with the thing that most people are having an issue with is the anus, because we have an issue with low vibration. We don't realize that the earth is the lowest vibration. So it's not that the earth is bad because it's a low vibration. It's just an opposite frequency than the high vibration. To get to the highest vibration, you got to deal with the lowest vibration. You can't tear them apart. In order to deal with your higher self, you got to also deal with your lower self. They are happening at the same time. It's just that you have to be the captain of the ship or the CEO of the corporation so that you are choosing the direction to put your sails in the wind so that you move in the place that you'd like to go. But no matter what, you're never going to get rid of the other self. The shadow self, you can't get rid of. You can evict the part of you, right? But it's never really gone. You could just put it to bed. But you have to start at the end to get to the beginning. The anus is the end and the beginning of everything. And most people got issues with the anus. There's emotional, all this stuff about it because of the mindset that we've had. That's all I can say right now. I can't give you the whole thing. You got to go get GodPower 1. So this is very, very important. How we have put things in our mind, and we have a belief system which is based on, programs. It's based on, modeling. Monkey see, monkey do. And a lot of things we're having are called references, and they're not reference. A reference is an actual experience. A referent. What? No, cancel, cut the take that away. Back up the tape. 3 things that are very important. There's a label. Things you call things are labels. That's not what they are. That's what you call them. That's not actually what they are. That's what we have agreed to call something. Then you have references. A reference is an idea or a theory about something or something you heard about, but you may not have actually been there. It's a reference. It's not actually it. It's a reference. So you have labels and references. It's just what we call things. A referent means that I was actually there. I saw it. I touched it. I felt it. But even that is unique to you because somebody else who was there actually has another vision of what happens. The movie you're seeing is unique to you. That's not the movie your mama, your daddy, your friends, your neighbors, your church, your preacher, your friend down the street, your cousins, uncles, friends, brother. Everybody is having a different experience. So don't assume that everybody knows what you're talking about and what you mean. Don't assume you know what Doctah B is saying because everybody listening here, thousands of people that may be listening, are all hearing something different because what I'm doing is triggering. What I'm doing right now is just moving, right? I'm moving the energy around and letting you grab the piece that you think is important. And if you take any piece of tonight or any of the talks that Brother Rich and I have had, take any piece and just go research that. You could research one thing and be there for a long time. I'm just spreading seeds. You take the ones that really grow for you.
All right, so let's get to a couple more. Fam, I was supposed to be on here for an hour, but Doc went in so thorough tonight, and it's not just how he went in, it was his vibe. Like I said, Doc got a whole new vibe with him, and I felt like a student tonight. So I was just sitting down and listening, and I didn't want to leave class early and get in trouble or not learn the lesson. So I just sat here to learn the lesson, man. But like I said, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the message you delivered for the worldwide global community tonight. We all benefited from this, and I just hope that people take it a step further and sign up for the workshop and hear what you got to say. But I'm super excited. Let me answer one question because there is some confusion. Let me see. Hold up. Where's it at? It's like so many comments. Okay, so there's some confusion about Rich. What exactly are the 7 prayers? I know a lot of people didn't see the first video me, Billy, and Doctah B did on quantum shapeshifters. So let me explain it again since we got 2,400 people in the chat. So let me put the workshop. We're having a workshop in October, a virtual workshop anybody can attend. We did one in January, I believe, of this year. It was Blueprint for GodPower 1. It was phenomenal, huge success. It was historical. We're back with part 2, and it's even better. And I guarantee everybody that's a personal guarantee. And I don't say that much, but I'm using that word specifically. I personally guarantee this one is even better. And I hate to compare them because they're both great in their own sense, but you'll get what the message I'm conveying. But so along with this one, I said it will be in my mind, and I told Billy and Doctah B, I said it would be a good idea to give people bonus content that they could use leading up to the event, since the event is all the way in October. So I came up with the idea of the 7 sacred prayers. The 7 sacred prayers is 7 master, it's really 6 master teachers and the best battle rap in the world, Loaded Lux. He's introducing them. Queen of Food says 2 prayers and everybody else says 1 prayer, which makes 7 prayers. But it's prayers that are told in a way to guide, inspire, direct you to make your own prayers, make your own mantras. It's meditational pieces that you can use throughout the day. I use them personally in the morning. Like, for example, I took my son to school this morning, and the prayers is like 40 minutes. I listened to the whole thing this morning. While I was after I took him to school, I went to the gym, and as I was in the gym, I listened to the whole prayers. So I like to start my day with that, and it makes my day 1,000 times better. You know, they say you got to conquer the day early. So that's how I conquer my day, with the 7 sacred prayers. But people are using them for all types of purposes. One of the biggest things they're doing, they're making everybody cry. So we have stored trauma, stored drama, and we have to release some of this shit. This shit got to get out of us. And we don't even know how to tap into that state because it's been there for so long. And these prayers are making people tap into whatever pain that each one of us has inside, and we're actually releasing some of this trauma. Doctah B just said it changed his life. Billy Carson said earlier last year it changed his life. He actually said a personal prayer about his relationship. He was talking about his relationship with his lady in the prayer, and then something happened 2 days after his prayers got 1 day after, and his prayers were Billy was bold. I was like, oh shit, he bringing up his relationship. I said, oh, this dude, he ain't no joke, but that's how intentional Billy is with this shit. He ain't scared. He's transparent. So these things, it's phenomenal. There's nothing like it in the world, family. I mean, there's absolutely nothing like it in the world.
Can I say something about this, about the tears?
Yes.
A lot of people are going through tears right now because remember I mentioned how we're at this state where we're moving from the waters of the emotion.
Yes.
As up onto the reed, right? We have most of your emotions are stored in tissues.
Mm-hmm.
Your subconscious mind is not in your head. It's not big enough. It's in your body and in the auric field around you. Okay? Which is your biosphere or your magnetosphere, to get a little deeper. When you begin to cry, the tissue that is holding on to the issue, the memory, right? Mm-hmm. There are nerves touching it. As long as you think about the issue, you are strengthening the connection, the nerve connection to the issue, because you keep talking about it. You keep rubbing it. You keep, mentally, physically, spiritually igniting it. When you begin to cry about it, these little nerve endings called dendrites break off. If you take tears and put them under the microscope, we actually did this, you can see the little broken nerves called dendrites. They look like little tree branches. So when you cry and let something go, right? This is how you let go. This is like the grieving. When you are allowing, the key word is allow yourself to let go, because it's to be a man and to be this, you're not supposed to cry, be tough. You know what I'm saying? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. My boots ain't got no straps on them, so I don't even know what they're talking about. But when you get to this place where you're allowing yourself to let go, there's going to be tears. So in the sacred prayers, what's happening is you're hearing each of us emoting our own stuff. We're in the earth suit too. We're in the meat suit on the planet too. This is our avatar. So we're not, we're just like everybody else. What we're going through, what I'm going through right now, personally, what Billy and I are talking about right now, what we're all going through is a lot. And sometimes you got to break down. Even when we did the solutions event, right? The forbidden solutions, Billy breaks down, talking about his relationship and what happened with his father. And it's deep. When you allow yourself to let go and let those dendrites break off. And what's happening is unconsciously, when people are listening to the 7 prayers, unconsciously, it digs into tissue. And you begin to see these people who are supposed to be at this level, who are showing you that they're just like everybody else and going through whatever, it begins to set up a system where you're able to break off some of these dendrites and cry about it. Men, women, let it go. GodPower 1, if you watched it at the end, after I played Dick Gregory and then I played this song about the submarine man, I was done. I broke down. I was done. And it happens to me often. I'll be doing a lecture and I'll just break down because this stuff is so deep. You got to let it go. And when you let it go, it changes everything. Those tears are full of dendrites. Let them flow.
Yo, man, I almost shed a tear, y'all, yesterday, man, watching that young lady Sha'Carri Richardson, I think that's her last name, win that medal. She won what was the national championship? Somebody in the chat has said, but that was dope, man. That young lady been through so much, and it was very inspiring. And we constantly have to surround ourselves around inspiration. And I think that's what propels Doctah B and Billy Carson is, to make them as great as they are, because they're constantly inspiring us to be as great as we can be. And just watch Sha'Carri Richardson. Yeah, that's the name, Sha'Carri Richardson. But it's dope. She's been through a lot of adversity, some she caused, and a lot of hate from people who look down on her because of how she is or whatever. And she just, she said one day, she said she's taking off that wig. She took off her wig and she said she's just moving forward. And she did. That's exactly what she did. The world championship. It was very inspirational. And that's where we at right now, is we have to
take off the wig.
Yeah. What and that wig could be anything. That wig could be anything that,
fake up.
It could be shit. The wig could be religion that we hiding behind. That, what I'm saying? It could be anything. The wig could be a relationship that we might have to take off. You know what I'm saying? The wig
take it off. Let it go.
It off.
Just another love TKO.
Ooh, man. But look, no, I got one last question for you. I got a question I want to ask you, Doctah B. But before I do, just to give the people an example of what I was talking about, and this is just bonus content, family. This has nothing to do with the actual lecture. The lecture is 8 hours. 8 is going to be like 8-9 hours, but the sound bath, the 7 circuit prayers, the soundtrack, we just want to give y'all some extra stuff to say that we appreciate the support. So you're going to get the soundtrack, the music soundtrack. You're going to get the sound, the immersive sound experience from Doctah B and the 7 circuit prayers. We really just wanted to, I could have just said, man, we got another workshop, but I really want to show appreciation and do something different that's out there. So nobody's offering sound baths and sacred prayers and meditation soundtracks along with the workshop. Like, that shit is different. That's different. So I just want to do that for y'all and say, everybody who bought a ticket and is buying a ticket, I appreciate it. I'm just trying to put together the best event. As a promoter, I got promoter of the year from Billy Carson, and as a promoter, I just want to put together the best events and the best workshops or whatever I do. I want to make it as good as possible. So, and I'm glad that y'all enjoying it. But let me show you an example. Then I'm gonna ask Doctah B a question about some of the things he said tonight. Let me just show you an example of what we're talking about, and I'll play Doctah B's part.
What's going on, loved one? Oh, this right here. And what is?
I'm gonna play Doctah B's part
to be the writer on Mother Gaia, and that she is here to support me. I am grateful that Father Sky is pouring its energy down through me. I am grateful for the oxygen that travels through my veins. I am grateful for the blood that courses through my veins, that travels the same distance as all the way around the earth. I'm grateful for my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my ancestors, my brothers and sister. I'm grateful for my children and all children. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to have feelings in my hands and to have new ideas in my mind each day. I am very grateful to be creative and to be able to pull new ideas out of nothingness. I am grabbing new ideas out of nothingness. I am attracting what is, what will be, and what has been, collecting them into the now. I am grateful for this ability. I allow myself to be my best. I allow my words to be clear. I allow myself to do my best. I allow myself to never assume and to not take things personal. I allow.
All right. I don't want to play too much of that, man. But wow, that was. I see that expression on your face, Doctor B. You looking like you watching for the first time. You looking you like, who is that guy? You looking
I was not there.
You'll see the rewind and look at the expression of the Dr. B's not making this up. He really don't know that he said that. He's looking like, what is that?
I was having an out of body, out of dimension experience.
Man. Yo, the link family is pinned at the top of the chat. The link for the workshop is pinned at the top of the chat. The soundtrack is not. We didn't. You'll get the soundtrack the day of the event. We didn't release that yet. That'll be released the day of the event, I think. But man, yeah, that was great, man. That was amazing. Dr. B, what I want to ask you before we get out of here, my brother, it's such a magnificent night. You talked about. Let me see. How can I ask this? You talk often about let's just say we were talking about body language today. And you know how, Dr. B, you know how I may go to the gym. Like I said, I went to the gym today. So I may start to talk to you like this a little more. My posture may be a little more erect because I'm lifting weights now. And when you go to the gym, you start to walk different and your muscles is different and you stand more erect. But one thing I noticed, Dr. B, that happens when you go to the gym and you start lifting weights. You just start walking different. Instead of going like that, you start walking like that. One thing I noticed, Dr. B, another thing that makes you go like that besides lifting weights is confidence. So, every thought has a chemical. So if the weights make you go like that, but confidence also makes you go like that, what is it about the confidence that matches the weights in the gym that changes the posture of your body, Dr. B?
1 ounce of confidence weighs more than 1,000 ounces or pounds of fear. 1 ounce of confidence. It goes a long way. And confidence is when you're confiding in yourself. Mm-hmm. You see, you got to be careful because a lot of times we're looking for validation in all the wrong places. We're looking to be validated by the world. We're looking for an award. Mm-hmm. When I was up for the Forbidden, Conscious Awards, and somebody said, well, Dr. B, you should have won. I said, do you realize that being nominated and to be in the top 3 in the world in that category, what that was? What nominated means? Nominated means you won. You are the one. You're a winner. Some people think you have to have the award. Now, I'm confident that y'all all chose me to even be in that realm out of all the thousands and thousands of people in the natural health world. That blew my mind. I'm so grateful. That changed me too, because I never accepted anything for me most of the times. It was for others. Even in the music industry, I was the producer, I'm the engineer, I'm the writer, I'm supporting the artist. Even in natural health, it's the clients. I'm always giving it away. You see, I've been in chronic servitude and not accepting and celebrating myself. Sometimes we let ourselves go to pot and don't even handle all our stuff because we're always trying to help other people and we're validating ourselves based on other people. We need other people to say we're this and we're that. When you get in confidence and confide in yourself and have a new way of talking to yourself, with yourself, for yourself, besides yourself, see, not besides, with yourself, before yourself, a lot of times when you do that, your muscles, everything changes. You get erect. It's like lifting weights because that 1 ounce of confidence, which we were not taught, because you were taught the language of belittling yourself. My little project, my little self, my little house, right? You wanted to play small because you didn't want the oppressor to come and beat you down. If you act too big, too strong, too erect. So the oppressor, right, has oppressed and impressed into you some of these programs that's got you walking a certain way and talking a certain way until you break free. And now give yourself confidence for one day, if only for one night. For one night, just for tonight. Let this talk, this energy, take it. And just for tonight, have confidence and stop thinking about what you're not. Stop thinking about what your daddy said and what your mommy said and what they said on the playground. They told you your forehead was big. You had a normal size forehead, but now you feel like your forehead is big because they said something about it, and now that's in your tissue. So you believe it. So you covering up your forehead all the time. You don't want to act too intelligent. Why? Because you sometimes don't want to act too smart, too intelligent. Why? Because you don't want to make other people feel bad. You might have that thing where, you've got winner's remorse. If you win and your friends can't win, they won't be your friends no more. You may lose them if you will get out there and win and do what you really need to do. If you fly. Mm-hmm. So that winner's remorse is a thing that we have when we look at, right? We break ourselves down and we become, this word? Disconfident. You're not even confidential. Now what? You are an invalid. An invalid is an invalid person. You're a personality. Do you know the difference between a personality and a person? Personality, itty means little bitty pieces. It's broken up. A city, right? A city is a community. There's a difference between a community and a commune. A commune, all them people is living together in oneness. They share everything. In a community, we don't even know our neighbors. You don't even care. It's all about me, 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 me. It's broken up. Unity is different than union. Confidence is when you say, you breathe, you hold your back erect, and you speak clearly. You look in the mirror. I love myself, for myself, with myself, by myself. I'm not waiting for somebody else to love me. Talking about you want to get married. You better be married in your life, evenly yoked with yourself first. Because some of you wouldn't even marry yourself if you had the chance. You want somebody else to complete you. I'm not going to be complete till somebody else completes me. Well, you're done. You're like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Pop them in the oven, and now we got what? Some gluten. A ton of glue. You're stuck on some stuff that you can't help. So what this thing is about is getting confident with whatever you have and validating yourself. If whatever you have is enough, I am enough. Then have faith. Faith is feel as if the thing you desire has already happened. Feel as if the thing has happened. That's faith. Then we just got to work on cleaning up your parasites and all the rest of the stuff that's got you caught in the past. You ready to get rid of your parasites? You go to elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. And we help you get rid of your systemic parasites. But systemic parasites are also parasites in the system, which means that you've got mental parasites, spiritual parasite. You got your parents, they could be parasitic. And your neighbor could be parasitic. They're all sucking your energy because you keep validating yourself based on what they think. What do you think? How do you really feel? Take off all the makeup. Take off the high heel shoes that's got you feeling low. Right? Take off the fake hair, take off the makeup, take off the cake up, the eyelashes, which is causing the doctors to make so much money. The eye doctor told me the other day, they making so much money off the damage of the cornea and the skin of the eye from eyelashes. Do you know how much money is in this? It ain't just the lashes. It's you being lashed because you don't want to really see the world clearly. You want to fake it. So we live in the world of fake up, and people are just going with this. Being faker, everybody's plastic, and they talk. Hi, Dr. B. It's so good to meet you. Then the lady said, hold on 1 minute. Right? Lady was talking to me the other night. It's so good to meet you, Dr. B. I hear you. We're talking on the phone, right? It's so good. And then the other phone ring. Hold on, what's that, Dr. B? And she forgot to hit the pause button. Who is this? I told you I didn't want to talk to you right now. Right? I'm taking care of some business. I don't want to talk to you. Click. She forgot to hit that button. She comes back. Oh, yes. So Dr. B is so great. I want to meet you. This lady's an ogre. Lady. What? See, people are like this. They get a voice. It's a special voice. This is my spiritual voice. I'm wearing white today and I'm very spiritual. It's all some bullshit. I'm saying let's let this shit go. Wash all that shit off. Now, some people got to wear a little makeup because they got some physical things going on. That's different. But now we got people who are using this as their personality. They've become plastic. You're plastic. You're living in a plastic world. It's like saran wrap. You're all wrapped up, and then you got a filter, and you got a false personality, right? You're not being yourself because you're not courageous. You're afraid of being yourself. You're afraid of standing out of the crowd. You've got winner's remorse, huh? You don't want to win because if you really win and be yourself and be your authentic self, you will stand out. You will fly. You got to divide yourself and get away from the crowd and stop joining in with stuff that they tell you to join in with, because they're programming your mind, getting you to agree to stuff that normally your gut wouldn't agree with. Your God self wouldn't agree with. The God power is in you saying you need to break free from all this bullshit. Let it go. Turn the news off because it's the noose. The 6 o'clock noose is going to hang your ass. Back to you, Jim. Back to you, babe. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Got your back to me? And you want me to believe this shit? You're going to tell me it's a storm hitting in Los Angeles and show me the wind. And the man got on a trench coat. He's holding on to a flag, right? And he wins. But guess what? I'm talking to my sister on the phone. She says, well, right now it's just drizzling. Did you feel an earthquake? It was just a small. A huge earthquake. It was 12.12 on the Richter scale. I'm exaggerating, but that's how they be pumping this shit up. And then all this adrenaline is pumping and you lose your courage. You lose your power. Why can't we sit here together and become we? Together, let's create a crystal tonight, to now. Let's do this. We're going to create a crystal. We're going to do this tonight. Let's now send a message to the universe, all of us together as one within us, that we become healthier, wealthier, wiser. Let's tonight disconnect. After we hang up, let's disconnect from the internet. You might even go turn your modem off. Turn that sucker off. Unplug it. You ain't slept like this in a long time when you unplug that thing. The modem is modeling you. Modem. Get more of them to come join up and be electrocuted in their mind so they can't think. Modem. I get that was pretty good. Huh? Modem. That was creative. So
you tonight, like the nation. You making up words like the Nation of Islam, man.
Hey, man, come on, man. So let's do this tonight together. Let's focus on the world we would like. This is how you do some shadow work. Only focus on what you would like. As if it's happening now. Just play a little game until you feel it. At first, some of us are so programmed with seeing first. You're going to first focus on seeing what you'd like. Then get a feeling as if it's already happening. Get full of yourself. Just do this. Get in the bathtub, get in the bed, play with yourself, whatever you got to do. You're going to get to this place where you can feel what it is you desire as if it's here now. And when you go to bed tonight, when you get ready to go to sleep, let's focus on the feeling of what you desire showing up now. If some of you are saying, well, I got to wait till I get paid. Imagine the feeling of being at God power and being in the God power, because you have God power too. It just ain't the government and the church and the preacher and you got to get out of being the preacher. You got to become the reacher. Do I need to say that again? You've got to get out of the whole world preaching to you, and you've got to become a reacher. Reach where? Into you. It's called the 7th direction. The 7 directions. There's north, west, east, south, up and down, and the 7th direction is in you. This is the year of the 7th direction. It's about you joining the group called We. Together tonight. Let's all do this together. We're going to focus on being and creating the world we desire. And don't listen to what they're telling you. Only focus on what you desire. You are the 7 prayers. You have the 7 directions. Have it now. Just fake it. Even for one night, we will change. You'll see the weather tomorrow will change.
Dr. B.
Yes.
We're going to demonstrate some God power right now. I just got the channel. I just got the download. Well, when I say download, I always point up, but I guess it's coming from inside me, the download.
Yep. It's the outload.
I'm going to touch my heart when I say download from now on, y'all. I just got the download, Dr. B. So, faking it till you make it, in a sense that your cells in your body can't tell the difference between the external environment out there in the internal environment in your mind. So your self-talk is just as powerful as whatever is going on. That's why they say your DNA, what they say, the epigenetics is the response to the environment.
Yes.
And the response to the environment is your emotional response to the environment, your perception of the environment. And that's what changes the DNA and everything. So what we're going to do, we're going to demonstrate God power. Dr. B doesn't even know what I'm about to say right now, but we having fun. And this shit is real to us, family. This ain't no, like, we really about this. I'm going to use 2 minutes. I got my iPhone. Let me stretch out the thing. So I'm gonna go for 2 minutes, Dr. B. So check this out. We're gonna do mental rehearsal. I'm about to come out with an album with Cam Bottom. So for 2 minutes, I'm actor 1, you're actor 2. I'm gonna act like I just called you on the phone, Dr. B, and I'm gonna tell you, yo, Dr. B, I'm gonna tell you how our video just got 1 million views, and I'm gonna talk to you as if it already happened. I need you to respond to me as if you're getting the news that it already happened, and you respond how you respond if somebody just tell you their video hit 1 million views. Like, word, Brother Vince, goddamn. So you get what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
So this is mental rehearsal, and this tricks the body. This programs the body, programs the DNA, and this is some powerful shit right here. So I'm gonna start right now. Dr. B, what's good, bro? I got some good news, man.
Really, really, I can't wait to hear it, man.
Listen, hey, you remember that first conversation I had with you, and I kept bringing up music?
Yes, yes.
My nigga, you know me and Cam Bottom's video just got 1 million views, bro.
What?
1 million.
Man, that's beautiful, man. We got to celebrate that, bro.
Yeah. I'm styling on him. I'm styling. Yo. And you know what's dope? The song is about magic. So it's like we got the hypnotic beat, we got the melodic hook. It's catchy. The kids love it. The adults love it. The dudes in the street love it. The conscious people love it. Man, everybody in the world love this shit, Dr. B. Yo, Dr. B, I'm gonna tell you something, Doc, and I ain't tell nobody this. I've been waiting for this moment over 20 years. I started making beats when I was like in my 20s. I forget exactly what year, but I've been waiting for this moment for a long, long time, Dr. B. This shit feel good. This shit feel like I just had sex, bro. Like, this shit feel good, bro. This shit, yeah, that good, man. That good, man. So it's like, yo, any advice you could give me, bro? I know you've been in the music game. Any advice you could give me? Me and Cam getting calls from all over the place. The world is just changing for us right now. Any advice you could give me, Doc?
First, just know that you didn't only get 1 million views.
Yes.
Because other people were watching it too. So it's more than 1 million views.
Woo.
That's just what the program told you, people who clicked on it.
Right.
Whatever you are into, there's at least 1 million people who are into that same thing. We're connected. So what we have to celebrate is more than 1 million views.
Yes. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
We have to celebrate. And if we don't celebrate, then we don't have it. Because when you celebrate, you vibrate your cells. And guess what happens when you vibrate your cells? What happens, huh? Immediately, the serotonin turns on. You move away from dopamine into serotonin. Now, if serotonin and oxytocin come together, oh, that's it. Everything changes. So congratulations with the more than 1 million views. And everything has changed now. Congratulations, my brother. That's beautiful. You are phenomenal.
Thank you, brother. So, ladies and gentlemen, the timer just went off. So that we just demonstrated there's no resistance because we're acting. We're acting. I'm not trying to force myself to be positive. I was acting. Dr. B was acting. That's mental rehearsal. My body, my cells just said, he got 1 million views. He's one of the biggest producers in the world. We got to get him to practice more. We got to get him to get this. My cells is thinking about ways to continue being great at music because it knows I'm excited about being at the top right now. So that was just like an example of like mental rehearsal. And I think that doing things like that teach people on a different level, Dr. B, besides just the regular teaching. For somebody to actually see mental rehearsal, I think that affects people in a different way. That was dope, man. What you think, man? That was unique.
Can I show you something? First of all, it wasn't acting. It was real. Second of all, you called me some weeks ago and you mentioned that you had this new keyboard.
I did.
And you mentioned this keyboard that has this 6 or 5 levels of expression. There's nothing like it on the planet.
Yes.
That you were so excited and you said, man, it takes like a year to get this keyboard. You got to order it. I went and started doing some research on this keyboard. You said, you need to sign up for it now so you can get it. That was how many weeks ago, you think?
What, 3?
Maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. Maybe 4 weeks ago, you mentioned this keyboard that they make handmade for you and they one at a time. They're hard to get. They're challenging to get. Guess what?
What?
Last week, I got my keyboard.
Whew.
It didn't take a year. You know why?
They said the waiting list was a year. They told me the waiting list was a year.
The waiting list was a year. It wasn't a year for Doctah B. Because I focus on something as if it's happening now, and I celebrate it as if I had it. And I actually sat there and played it. I watched all the videos about it, and I attracted it. I allowed it. And I got a call from somebody, right, who said, guess what? I heard you were looking for the Osmos keyboard. I said, yes. They said, we got one here. One came in today, and we heard you needed, Doctah B. We love what you're doing with Billy and what you're doing with Brother Rich. We actually got one in our shop. We want you to have it. I desired it to make this meditation music that we're making for GodPower. I said, I need that keyboard because it taps into your emotion. It works based on emotion. There's no other instrument like this in the world. No. It's called the Osmos keyboard, and it works through osmosis. It's deep. They actually sent me one. They rushed it to me. Mm-hmm. Now, I had 2 other companies that I had it on hold, waiting for that year to come. I was willing to wait, but in my mind, I had it. I actually have the keyboard. It happened because I attracted it. I allowed it. Now, let me just break this down before we go. When you allow something, there's no work involved. If you say, I am, or I'm trying, or I'm doing, I'm working on it, your body says, there's a lot of work, man. We got work means war, fighting. Even worship means when you're worshiping something, that means you're fighting, you're worshiping. So when you say play or allow means all you got to do is open up and let it happen. It's already there for you. Everything is already there for you. The only thing that's stopping you is what? Little blocks. Mental parasites, physical parasites are stopping you. The one parasite, toxoplasma, which is the mind control parasite, has got almost everybody messed up. 70% of the people that have it. You know, I got the book. The book breaks it all the way down. Where's the book? I don't even have it. Well, here we go. This is your brain on parasites. They talk about these parasites that are controlling people's brains. So you may be conscious and thinking you all deep and you eat nothing but vegetarian food, but the parasite is controlling you. So I had to figure out how can we release toxoplasma. And we did it through our elevated total body program, which is at elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. My point here is that when you allow yourself to let go of whatever's blocking you, stop asking other people what they think, stop telling other people all your plans and mind your business and business your mind, everything changes. So what we're going to do is one more thing. Here's a gift for everyone here tonight, which is to now. We're going to create your desire. So get it in your mind right now, what you desire to show up. Don't make it like crazy where you want $20 million tomorrow, because your subconscious says, you know, damn well we can't do that. So just say there's something that you feel is not that far. It could be a block or a limitation, or you'd like to change the way you feel about something right now, which will help you because your feelings are actually creating, you know, the chemicals in your body. So let's focus on something desirable. Let's do this together. Focus on something desirable and breathe really deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth like you're whistling. And you're going to do that 3 times. Everybody do it. Out through your mouth like you're whistling. In through your nose, out through your mouth like you're whistling. I want you to focus on your gut and feel the thing actually alive in your gut, the idea. Just feel it. Now, some of you may be having a challenge, so we're going to do something that's going to shift everybody into the quantum field. I'm going to shine a light a quantum field light into the camera. So you're going to open your eyes. Remember the feeling of being at the place that you'd like to be. Hold on to it. Y'all got it? You got it. And I'm going to shine this light, the quantum field light. It's called the wand, into the camera, and it's going to instantaneously turn up all your neurons in your body. And it's going to what? Capture the light from the quantum field and create that idea. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at the camera. Look at your screen. And when you see the light, just know that your idea has arrived. Are you ready? Go.
Oh, shit. What the fuck? You motherfucker. You, I'm sorry. You surprised me. I ain't know you was, my fault, family. I ain't know you was going to hit us like, yo, Doc, man. God, this dude full of surprises.
This is a quantum field light. We actually have these at elevationtime.com.
This dude here, man.
The light is deep.
Yeah, that was some Men in Black shit there, man.
The light is dealing with quantum field energy. It's the only thing. I've never seen anything work like this.
Yo, bro.
There's a whole group of products that we're dealing with this company from Germany that they had this stuff hidden for years. This is some deep stuff, and it's been certified by many of the European companies as it actually works. The light is what increasing the energy of anything by 10 to 100 times. So the idea that you had of being successful and breaking the blockage actually right now is programmed into every cell of your body. Powerful. Wherever you were in the world, by looking at that light, everything became enlightened, and the field of energy, right, the waves that you sent into the quantum field are now creating material. Tomorrow, your life will be different. When you go to bed tonight, you're going to carry that quantum field energy, and you're going to carry it when you go hit that button, right, to invest in the GodPower, because that light is what? A GodPower light. But actually, you already have it in you. So until we learn how to operate the technology we already have, we use some of these devices. So the field is open right now. So most of you out there are feeling it. You're shifting. You're saying, oh my gosh, what just happened? It put out all of the sacred geometry instantly. You could just go back and play this, just play this program over and over and look at that light. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is beautiful, y'all. It is not hard. It's simple. It's all simple. We need to get to the simplicity. Doctor B, as you know, I'll talk about some deep subject, very simple, and just break it down, make it fun. So it ain't so much work, and worshiping. Get out all that. You are the ancestors. You are the spirit. You are God. It's all in you. You have GodPower too. Have it.
Doc, they said we just gave them a surprise workshop just now. We did mental rehearsal. We gave them a quantum light.
Love. We're making love out of the things that are not love. What do you make love out of, Dr. B? The things that are not love.
That's deep. That's deep. Man.
You see that now we did some what we call shadow work. We put light down in the shadow. The shadow cannot darken a whole room. Light can enlighten an entire room.
Cassiopeia. I'm sorry. The light caught me by surprise. I started talking and everything, breaking people concentration. My fault. Yo, Doc, you got to bring that light to the workshop. You got to hit us with it at least 3 or 4 times, man. You got to hit us with that light. Yeah, that's the keyboard. Yeah, the Expressive Osmos 49. Yeah, that's it.
Man, that keyboard done changed my life.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That thing's off the chain.
All right, let me just check because we're about to get out of here. Let me just make sure we answered all the questions that I was looking at. Wow, what a show, man. I had no idea we was going to be on here for 2 hours and 30 minutes. I told Dr. B, I got about an hour, and I just couldn't leave. I couldn't leave, and I had to I got stuff I got to do that I'm behind, but I just couldn't leave tonight. I couldn't get out of my seat. I'm glad I stayed.
And if you want more, go to elevationtime.com and go to events and you'll see an event that I did on Saturday. It's free. That's like 4 hours of it. I am a new Doctah B. I'm not the same guy. He left. I don't know where he's at. I can't find him. He walked off in the neighborhood and didn't come back. Are you ready to do the same thing?
Yeah, that light is in my mind too. They said that light is there. I still see it too. I still see it. Somebody said, hit us again. You want to hit us again with it? One more time. I'm going to be quiet this time.
And we're going to be quiet this time. Don't nobody say nothing.
I'm going to be quiet.
Focus on what you desire as if it's happening now. Whatever you desire, just focus on it and feel it in your mind. And we're going to assist you with the light. Are you ready? Here we go.
Nah, that's different. Shh. Oh, sorry.
There we go. The ascension has happened. We all have ascended. This is it. You've ascended.
Yo, I love this.
Family, with a light.
Family, I love
enlightenment.
This. I love this. Family, I love this so much. This is so fun and this is working. This is y'all. If y'all only understood, shit is happening right now. Yo, this show is monumental. This show is classic. One more time before we get out of here, family. If you love the show tonight, hold up. Let me get rid of this. If you love the show tonight, I want to make sure I see all of y'all at the workshop. We're gonna have this much fun and 1,000 more, times 10, times 1,000 at the workshop. And that's the best way to learn. It's supposed to be lighthearted, it's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be effective. It's emotional, it's intellectual. And if you enjoyed yourself, treat yourself, don't cheat yourself. Sign up to the workshop. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. Doctah B. This dude here ain't no joke. And Billy Carson. This is one of the ones, Doc. This is one of the ones. Sign up, family. Doctah B is going to speak probably for about 5 hours. We're going to give him, he might start a little earlier than 11. Might start at 10. I'm not sure. We're going to figure out how to work it out. But Doctah B is going to get at least 4 or 5 hours. Because he got to talk about the mind idioms, the human lie detector, the eviction process, the idioms. I mean, the whole brain state. I mean, he got a lot to drop in this workshop. So you get the workshop. Everybody who orders the workshop tonight, I'm sending out the 7 sacred prayers tonight. It's 11:43. I'm gonna wait till about 1 o'clock. I'm gonna give y'all some time. If y'all gotta find your credit card to order, and I'm sending out to everybody tonight. So you will have it the whole day tomorrow as well as tonight. If you want to stay up, listen to it. If you want to program yourself with it before you go to bed, that's super effective. So you could do that as well. But I'm gonna wait till 1 a.m. and I'm gonna send it to everybody. That's what I'm gonna do. It's 11:43 Eastern time. I'm gonna wait till 1 a.m. and then I'm gonna send it to everybody who ordered tonight, as well as everybody who ordered yesterday or anybody who didn't get it. Besides that, we're working on the soundtrack for y'all. And Doctah B is putting together the immersive sound bath. So it's a complete package. I'm loving it. This is the greatest thing I put together. So much creativity went into this. Y'all seen we did the mind rehearsal tonight. We did the quantum light. I mean, this is fun. I'm having a good time. Y'all know I wrap my shows up in an hour. I got things that I just pushed to the side tonight, but something my spirits told me I had to sit here and finish up this show tonight. I had some unfinished business to do with this show. So glad I did it, Doctah B. I'm glad you came on tonight. Wonderful show, bro. It's always a pleasure having you on here. It's been dope meeting you last year and us affecting humanity the way we did. Maybe we both come from the Sirius star constellation. Maybe I knew you in past lives, brother. But yeah, we definitely, it was meant for us to work together in this life, man. And it's been an honor working side by side with you, resurrecting the consciousness of humanity, my brother. Before we get out of here, one more time, leave your contact info and anything else you want the people to know.
Yes, thank you very much. And we are from the same place. We're only part of the oneness.
Indeed.
And once we start saying we, then we'll all be on that train, the love train. So thank you very much. It's been an honor. You can find me at elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. There is classes, there's workshops, there's free workshops, there's even the GodPower 1. If you still like to take that class, it is still there. Make sure you join the email list at elevationtime.com. There's an email list and a newsletter so you can know what's happening. There's a bunch of things going to be happening right up until GodPower. So we got some surprises coming, and we're still adding on to this thing. And we are pulling out the stops on this one. These things that we're going to be covering are not things that you're going to find on YouTube. You see, there's sacred geometry in the way you move your eyes. And even about blinking, we're going to talk about the blinking of the eyes and why television and lights and fluorescence, they blink in a certain way at 60 cycles per second, which takes you into this zone where you can be easily programmed, and how to turn all that off. So this has been a beautiful wave and a vortex that we're opening together. I want to thank all of you. Love yourselves as much as I love you. And keep in mind, most of the luggage that you're carrying is not yours. It's egregors, it's mental parasites, it's ghosts, it's toxins in your body. It's the water of emotion from the past. It's the victim archetype. We're going to let that go. Let it go tonight. You have the light. We are one. And we're going to make this thing big, right? We're not going to wait on anybody. We're not waiting, because the longer you wait, the more weight you gain. You see, we have to be it right now. Be we. Be love. It's good to see you all here. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Brother Rich, and your family and your genes and all of you out there. Come together as one. Let's stop talking about each other and stop judging each other. Get out of other people's business. Mind your business and business your mind. And that's the way we begin to ascend. Keep in mind the dragonfly. It's time to crawl up out of the waters of victimhood and emotion and spread our wings. Let's go.
One more thing before we get out here. Everybody who buys it tonight, also, I would appreciate if you comment in the comments section tomorrow and let me know how did it impact you. So once again, everybody who purchased it tonight, or if you purchased it before and didn't let me know, put it in the comment section of this video how it impacted you. I would love to know. It pleases me to know that it's affecting people in different ways. But don't forget, everybody who bought your tickets tonight, let me know in the comment section how it has affected you. So when I go to this video tomorrow, I can read the comments and I can be like, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. But other than that, mind your business and business your mind. That's the motto. Mind your business and business your mind. Brother Rich Black Magic 363, Mr. 1 million views. I done collapsed the wave. I done collapsed the wave.
Let's celebrate.
Me and Cambada. We hit it. We did it. I collapsed the wave today with mental rehearsal.
Celebrate as if the thing has already happened.
Yo, this is fire. Y'all don't know. This is next level imagination, visualization. This is dope. Doctah B, man, I can't wait to see you again, brother. I'll call you tomorrow on the phone to kick it with you about a couple of things with the workshop, because like you said, we're continuing to build on it. And besides that, we are signing out. Go ahead, Doctah B.
One of the things you got to come by, because some people sent you something from Africa. They sent us some things that came from the continent. Man, this is some deep stuff. The box, when I went to my mailbox, it had this energy, and the lady at the post office was like, what do you think this is? It feels like something. I opened this thing up. My mind was blown. Yeah. So they actually sent you some gifts from the continent. Bro, I got it in a box. I got it, I put some crystals around it because I didn't want it to get out. You know what I'm saying? Just remember, so call me so we can talk about that.
Got you.
Thank you to the people all over the world who are part of your program and part of GodPower. We all have GodPower. We just got to tap into it. Much love.
Indeed. With that being said, Brother Rich, Doctah B signing out. See you next time, family. Peace.